Hello, everyone, and welcome back to OSAS. We're here with Season 12. We've got a game for you real quick here. We got La Creatura versus Glitch Pop. Should be a pretty fun one. I'm joined by P. Flair. How you doing?
I'm doing real good, and frankly, this is a long time coming. I've been wanting to cast with you for a hot minute, and we got a hot game to start it off with. I am definitely looking at like La Critura. You've got some familiar faces on that squad with Kuriyami, Doggy Toes. You know him, you love him. That one, that's the player to watch, I think, already. How are you feeling about this match?
Should be a pretty good match. Got a fire cast going on with profile pictures, but should be a pretty fire match as well. Got the now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Doggy Toes is not quite an IME one trick, but is known for the IME, right?
Yeah, Doggy Toes can pull off some sick stuff on the IME and very good, I feel like, on the defense to offense conversion, like just being able to start like setting up like some crazy plays and the finishes from time to time as well, let's say. But in general, yeah.
IME is one of those characters that's pretty highly contested in OSAS. I think probably two of the main characters that you tend to see a lot of are Juno and IME, because it's the characters that a lot of newer players are drawn to that kind of stick around for a while. So going to be interesting to see how that goes when we eventually get into the pick ban here. Because it's one of those ones where if you have a player that plays IME, you can always just deny it away. But with Dagitos being that team one, will be a little interesting to see how it actually ends up.
Yeah, for sure. I am also honestly, I'm very much looking to see how Glitch Pop can kind of like handle this team of La Critura. I'll be honest, do I know any of these individuals particularly? No, but I'm always excited to see teams that I'm not aware of. I'm always excited to see how they can navigate, like the folks that I do know. So by all means, I am definitely curious for what's going to happen here. It's looking like Imi's app.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty fun there with the IME's app being their round one in Swiss. So every team plays on IME's app. The next one we're going to go to is Oni Village for round two of Swiss, and then rounding up with Night Market. But IME's app, instant Rasmus ban from red team, pretty standard, because if you're blue team, you can kind of just let it happen and take the Rasmus if they don't ban it. So I think that's a pretty good, pretty solid draft strategy. The Zentaro first pick is a little unorthodox. Generally, that would be a Julie if the Rasmus is picked, but definitely not a bad pickup there on the Zentaro. But and a lot of the times, especially in OSAS, it ends up being comfort. But
Yeah.
really nice start here for La Creatura, able to get a fair bit of presence here on the map. Now, of course, it is fought back here. King Weird actually going to be the one to take the first barrier here, the Cyber Swipe from Dagitos with the strike as well. Glitch Pop is unfortunately popped a little bit too late. Great pass off the middle there, gets into the Cosmic Expanse. Good defense here from Galace John there. Pass up, strike shot from Slime Singer is really nice, and we're going to settle a little bit more here as the core goes back and forth on this bottom side for so many times.
Yeah, honestly, with the side of La Couture, they have a lot of possibilities to attack, a lot of angles and setups that they can hit. That's just the power of Aimi and Zentaro in general. But on the other side of things, for Glitch Pop, they have, I was about to say they have a good possibility for defense, but that's not going to matter if, like, Kuriyami can keep finding those gaps, which, frankly, very good at.
Yeah. And we did just see some gaps found there as well. Even though the barrier was opened first by Glitch Pop, they weren't able to get that to close on the goal. So also this, I love the usage of the middle of this map, that hole, for a core control and dribbling. Unfortunate the Tofu Fortress actually caused it to bounce back and forth there. A bit of anti-defense as it sometimes happens. Strike shot whiffs though, and the Aimi turret comes out the Cosmic Expanse. The core flip forced out, but used a little bit too early with that passive. Means that not too much happens. Mr. 100 running forward here, but the Slimes do not catch it. Strike Kuriyami has the core, has the gold. The Glitch Pop comes out, sets it up, but not quite. It is interrupted. Dash production comes out as well. Down to Mr. 100, up to King of Weird. Can they get the conclusion? The dash is good, but not defended against. The Glitch Pop comes out as well. Core flip forced out of Dubu. Good Cosmic Expanse here from the Atlas, and just barely Slime Singer was able to get to the goal in time.
Yeah, honestly, very good defense out of both these teams. I'm already like impressed by Glitch Pop. Aside from that, unfortunate early burst, and then with the blob, with the redirect, and nothing left in the tank to avoid that point. So, two up for La Critura. Glitch Pop showing some good signs, I think. I feel like their offense is very good. They have been getting like these quick barriers, so you know they have the capability. It's just their finishing isn't quite there yet. And so what's happening now is La Critura is being able to kind of take advantage of that. They can basically execute a lot more smoothly when they do get those barriers down, like now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the characteristics of OSAS is this sort of notes of really good play, and then that gets refined throughout the course of the tournaments. It's really great to see how they develop that, because, you know, you can see, you know, there's some hints of some really good play here, some passing play. Oh, really unfortunate dash there from Zentaro, and good pickup by King of Weird to notice that, teleporting a little close to the edge, and that's going to be a kill, but the Tofu Fortress not respected by the Juliet. It's a 2 versus 2 here. Zentaro coming back a little bit faster. Ash Progression, though, keeps it forward with the Slime as well. Slime Singer very close to that core flip. Passes with that team player on the side of La Critura. Red Cores, though, coming out. Great pass with the Oni's Blade as well, but the Slime intercept from Mr. 100 is really nice, keeping it forward, but the Glitch Drop sends it in.
Just very nice consistency on that play. Very nice for Kiriyami to just keep it up, and Doggy Toes for being able to punch that in. The defense, not quite there this time for Glitch Pop. Like we've been saying, there's signs there. There's flashes of greatness there. Just need to see that refined, and I'm hoping to see that refined. I'm particularly looking at Mr. 100. I think their play has been very good, and the slime placement, like, very effective.
Yeah, and with the aerials pickup as well, there's going to be a lot more room for putting those slimes a little farther out, getting some positioning with Juno herself, and really seeing how Mr. 100 can make use of those aerials is going to be one of the hallmarks here, and really one of the separators between a good player and a great player is being able to know when to use it aggressively or not.
Right, absolutely. Because you can get a little bit carried away when you see like how far that Juno can jump now, and that's all great and all, but there's still a time and a place for everything. Just like they managed to set that turret up very well, Doggy Toes, and Striker Kiriyami just catches it from the Tofu and finishes that point off. Very nice, very quick point for La Critura. Just very solid play. No like super killer like playmaking efforts, just strong consistency and just being able to know when to follow through and when to be able to punch through, convert those offensive pushes into proper scores.
Yeah, and I think that consistency really will set a team apart, no sass especially, because a lot of players here can make those flashy plays, but if you can only make them once a set, or even once a game sometimes, it's not really going to pay that much. You might get a goal here or there, but the consistency and the ability to find plays like that, Dagito's finding the cross core flip with the team player speed, really nicely done. And kudos to Striker Kuriyami for not stealing the goal.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually, that's also a common issue with a lot of younger teams. They're hungry for it. They want to make sure the play goes through, and that's a little bit of a matter of being able to trust in your teammates, and that's something that is easier said than done a lot of the time. You've got to kind of grow together as a unit in order to be able to trust your team, trust that they can handle this, trust that they've made the right play, you know what I mean? And that basically opens up a world of tactics for you.
Yeah, like the back pass there from Dagitos. You don't see that too often, especially with the team player speed. But actually pulling off a back pass and having it be received is really nice. The glitch pop as well, really perfect. And the full team, we're just talking about it, and they all get their moment there with that the goal. Everyone helped out and made that happen. And now, 2-0 set. La Critura is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely looking like the monster in this match, and that Deadeye is not going to make things much easier for Glitch Pop. So, looking at all of these, what do you think are the major takes? I'm definitely looking, like I said, at that Glitch Pop. The bulk up I do feel is also very good, but for Glitch Pop to be able to kind of run this back, I feel like they're going to need to find a way to kind of get back the momentum that they had in the first set, where they were getting those quick barriers, and they need to kind of like try and find a bit more offense somehow to kind of like punch through. The question is how, though.
Yeah, I mean, we have now the Julie picking up the bulk up with Big Fish and Might of the Colossus. That is a lot of power on this Juliet. However, one of the things I think was kind of a mistake there was letting the Dubu get this extra special through your Atlas. Really good team play there to get the goal as well. Really nicely found with the dash there from Striker Kuriyami. But letting Dubu get extra special is really good. Letting Dubu get extra special when you're an Atlas that can deny it is also not great for you, because then you also can't save your team nearly as often.
Yeah, that was just kind of like an unfortunate pick there. I feel like they're going to go back and they're going to, like read the tapes and realize it as a nice opportunity here, but very well defended away for now by Slinger 24. So, like, that's another thing. They have to be able to kind of like clean that play up there. Nice attempt at the very least with the attempt on the flip, but it's just this is a team play from La Creatura. It's just really on point right now. Just constant pressure, constant threats, even from like the backfield, and it's hard for them to kind of like get more than 1 or 2 moments.
Yeah, you can even see there the dash punch from King of Weird a little bit too early there. Maybe just in frustration, even just seeing maybe can you kill the goalie. And you do have to look for something if you're behind. Good core flip, though, from Glacejon. Gets it forward, but doesn't get too much done because the team has had to retreat in the face of all the aggression. Strike shot is nice, but out comes the Firewall Sentry. Mr. 100 has that core flip available. Might have to burn it pretty soon, but is going to opt to keep it around. Really nicely done. King of Weird, unfortunately, missing another dash punch. The dash gets it through, though. And Striker Kuriyami just has not been missing this game.
No, definitely been on a tear. Doggytoe's just been very good on the support, throwing out those turrets, cutting off angles of attack, and keeping that core forward, allowing for Slinger to just like, again, like he's been doing, throwing those logs out, throwing that tofu out with impunity. Just very hard to kind of stop that offensive train for Glitch Pop. And they haven't really found like a permanent answer to it. King of Weird definitely been trying though, just like that, and trying to find these kill spots. And honestly, that's kind of what you do as a Julie. I feel like that's you're a hunter, and you've got to find your marks and you've got to take your shots, but those shots have to be very precise.
Unfortunate turn of events there for Glacejon, though, whiffing the strike shot and just not having anything left in the tank for that. Good pickup by Striker Kuriyami to jump on top of that one as well. But it was just kind of, we saw flashes here from Glitch Pop. The glitch popped. It was a flash, but then it was gone. There was nothing else there, unfortunately, behind it. And I think that's something that this team can work on. They definitely have what it takes. But some of that team play you're talking about, the consistency of play, I think they really can work on. And I'll be glad to see them going forward. They have more games today and 3 more weeks. Because, again, the first week of OSAS is, honestly, it's kind of, I don't want to say traitorous, but you never really know what to expect from the first week because there's been so many teams that either can't sign up because they're not put together yet, or they're biding their time, or they just haven't played enough together yet. And it feels like Glitchpop might be that kind of team where week 1 they don't do as well, but then week 2 they maybe just switch flips and they're so much better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that because, like, there was, like you said, like we were saying, definitely signs there have clear potential. It's just kind of it's still wait and see time. It's still kind of like a feeling out process, let's say.
Yeah, and a process that will continue, but we're also going to get to see some other teams in their efforts to improve after a little bit of a break.
Hello, party people. We are back again. OSAS Season 12, starting fresh, Week 1. I am P. Flair, man on the mic. Next to me, none other than AJ Cannon. Next up, we have for you something a little bit familiar for a lot of you. Chikara Space Train against Seraphim Crimson. How are we feeling about that?
I'm not to be biased, but I'm feeling like Malachi's season. It's season 12, 12th time's the charm. I think Malachi can do it. I think honestly Malachi has probably been able to do it for a while. Just gotta lock in at all the right moments, and I feel like every season they get a little bit better at locking in. And so, for real, this could be the one. On the other side, I am not as familiar with Chikara Space Train, but they do have some fun names, so there is that.
Yeah, I've seen Chikara Space Train around and about, and I do feel like they have the potential to go far. I am particularly looking at Shikakute. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know and I will apologize. But in general, I have to say that they are a team that can surprise you. I do, however, feel as though Chikara Space Train has a little bit more to go than, say, Seraphim Crimson does. I do agree with you in that I feel like it could be their time to finally be the bride instead of the bridesmaid. Hopefully.
Hopefully, indeed. Now, we're also going to see it is, of course, Oni Village for this second map in the Swiss. For those that aren't familiar with the way OSAS goes, the first 3 rounds of Swiss have predetermined maps, just so we don't end up on the same ones, and it goes a little faster, and make sure, especially in OSAS, that people that make it through are well-rounded and aren't one tricks playing one character on one map all the way through. Helps them grow.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an Among Titans start. It's also prime time, but it's an Among Titans start, and that's the important one usually. And we're going to have the immediate Aimi ban and the immediate Rasmus ban with a Luna first pick, not as common on the Oni Village. But if we're not mistaken, this is basically Seraphim Crimson's bread and butter. Maybe an Estelle goalie instead of the Luna, but other than that, the Luna is, of course, one of Yugo's picks. And then, of course, it's the Drakkar and the Mako that Tafonka and Master X Mako Kai are well known for.
Yeah, that is the comp is basically tested. There have been proven to be some chinks in it, but when it's on, it's on. I am always a fan of Luna showing up, even in maps where maybe she probably shouldn't. Oni Village is kind of a bit of a coin flip. If you can get those boosts right, then yeah, she can cross the map just like that. On the other hand, if she's on the defense, she is baby child. She has little stubby legs. Meanwhile, you've got an Estelle that can basically snipe you from halfway across. You've got that rune, placing pillars. Very, very dangerous and very in line for a lot of dynamic shifts with the particular characters that Space Train has.
Yeah. A lot of ability to flex around with that. But, I mean, we will see what everyone picks, but I will be very surprised if it's anything but what we kind of talked about here. There we go. We already see that Luna being locked in, followed by the Mako, which is going to be Tefunk on the Drakkar. On the other side, we can't see who's who just yet. But I'm also curious to see if they will pick up all Among Titans. I think generally it's considered that Among Titans start is just pretty much always take full Among Titans on both sides.
Yep.
And it seems that they did get that memo. It is always interesting to see that some other metas come out of that, especially with that Rasmus if it wasn't banned. Sometimes you will see that Rasmus pick it up, but honestly, even though you get extra size, the speed reduction is so killer on that. But Master X Malachi going there, taking that first barrier, even with the Rune Pillar, is not going to be able to defend, but it is actually that Rune Goalie with Mom Boots. I am actually quite a fan of that one. I've been picking up myself every now and then. But as well, that Estelle gets a barrier even while being on practically no health. Let's see if she can actually stay alive, though.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be like a very offense-heavy attempt for Seraphim Crimson. They know that their defense in Luna is not the best. That's just how Luna operates. She is kind of like a reserve distance battery, someone to add offense to, and with that Drakkar as well backing them up, that's going to be a lot of pressure that they can put up if they can get if they can get it rolling. But on defense, a lot more suspect.
Yeah, but that defense was pretty solid there. Yugo actually getting the evade save in front of the Oni's Blade, the piercing shot. But was not quite able to pull it out in the end. The rebound was caught by Chikara's Space Train. They were able to put it in. And I'm just going to call Yugo out on it because I do it as well. Goalies, if you are watching this, take note and don't int your barriers to get orbs. It's tempting. They are very tasty. But if the orb is over there and you don't have any abilities up, just stay safe. Wait for one ability to come up so you can defend. Because otherwise you will just lose a barrier, and it's very sad.
Yeah, it's that's kind of like a rough situation. I am also a bit behind because my game crashed.
It is all good. We do have Seraphim Crimson fighting back and taking a 20-second point against Chikara Space Train. Yugo as well with almost a full energy bar. Tefunk also having the core flip available. Master X Malachi not actually getting that barrier. Really solid defense there from the Space Train. They lose a barrier on the backside of the play, but it of course is only that first one on Oni Village. The anomaly comes out on Narb trying to get things done, but he doesn't quite have what it takes to get all the way through. And this poor Zentaro has been energy taxed. He has nothing left. Core flip forced out of Rune as well. The ensnare drums are really nice, but the defense is better. Really nicely done by Oddnarb there on this Rune Goalie. A lot of damage on Estelle as well. The Rune Banish comes out just to put a bit of a pause on things, gives them just a moment of respite. And actually, Yugo actually comes through and is not able to, comes through, but sadly doesn't in the end. The anomaly was really nicely done there. The Luna ult, the Creator Maker comes out, keeps it forward. Master X Malachi farming up to get that core flip, just about to get it. The rocket from downtown, not enough to get it, but these dashes from Yugo have actually been really nice to keep things forward. Really risky at times, but is paying dividends there. The core flip from Estelle is really nice. Narb actually really nicely done there by Malachi. Gets the flip, gets the kill, gets the goal, everything coming up Malachi. I think it might be Malachi's season.
Was impressive from what I saw, and yeah, definitely props to Yugo for being able to hold that out and hold that defense using those boosts very, very effectively.
Yeah, Tefunk going for a bit of a dribble with the shotgun as well. Malachi coming out trying to get it around, but the good defense here from Space Train there. Really good at working together on this defense and rotating around, but Yugo is also really nice on that front as well, able to rotate so much with just the secondary. Tefunk as well, hanging back, going for dribbles. Great back pass from Malachi to Tefunk. You can see the teamwork in action on this very storied team. Core flip from Yugo to save that first barrier. Not sure if worthwhile, but it does get it forward, which is really nice. Lose the barrier in the end, but of course, it's only one barrier. The second one is still standing there. Oddnarb using that secondary preemptively just for a little bit of defense, and really nicely done. The Creator Maker comes out. Malachi misses the strike, unfortunately. Doesn't get the connection that he was looking for, and the goal is going to stay open. The dash is nice, but is defended. The banish is on Malachi, but it doesn't get too much done either there. We have Joaquin going for the piercing shot as well from Shikakute, and the Corp was well defended really nicely. And the Oni's blade almost defended, but not quite fully, unfortunately, for Yugo. And the strike war is won by Estelle, sending it into the goal, even as Yugo is trying desperately to dash up to it. It's just a second too late.
Okay, so just like looking at what I've seen, even though I'm a little bit behind, I do want to ask you a question. And that question is, with how Yugo has been managing like these boost defenses, you have to imagine that they're going to try and like figure out how to like take advantage of it. I am seeing like they did manage to get the barriers down a little bit faster than normal. So what do you think is going to be like their game plan for being able to kind of like work around Yugo's own strategies?
I think one of the big things with Luna is just the cooldowns. Great piercing shot as well by Estelle. They managed to get the goal open, but in the end, the rotate goes the way of Space Train, taking us to a 5th point in the first set. And it's looking like a pretty nice game. But to the point of Luna's cooldowns, they're very easily exploited because they're very easy to see when she uses an ability, and they have fairly long cooldowns. Not super long, but fairly long. You can know when they're up, you can know when they're down, and so you see these really flashy plays from Yugo that are really nice and sometimes very necessary, but whether you are on the team of Luna or against it, you have to play around those cooldowns. If Luna's cooldowns are down, you have to play a little bit more defensively, but if they're up, you can really go and play aggressively. On the flip side, if you're on that enemy team, you know, when you see that Luna pick up Twin Drive and now it's a lot harder to calculate those boosts, you start having to not quite have that window of opportunity that we saw them take advantage of so much in this last set.
It seems like this game can be very much like more of a chess game than it may seem like at first blush, and I feel like that's part of it. Like, you saw Yugo is making all those moves with the boost, and Chikara Space Train trying to like play around it, but now Yugo like also realized, hey, once my cooldowns are down, then, you know, I'm in trouble. So how do I rectify that? Well, I managed to get a good spot for Awakenings. There's something that can, you know, like improve on that boost front, improve this, get a little bit of an improved secondary and more secondary. That'll allow me to help keep offense up. And yeah, I saw that like they scored about that again on that. So, you know, like very nice to see that kind of like chess game of OS play out.
Yeah. Speaking of chess game, though, more of a boxing match in the chess boxing scenario. Malachi just kind of 1v3ing there, able to put it through the goal using all of the abilities, but great ability usage, good staggering on them. Good defense here from Yugo as well. The pillar a little bit too late there, but the hit stun from the Zentaro preventing this defense from happening. Malachi going for a bit of a greedy flip there. I think was maybe thinking the rune would think the other way instead of just the direct shot, of course. That is sometimes the way it goes. The good old bell curve of defense, shoot it straight at the goalie. But the rocket comes out here, and that's a lot of speed on the core. And a goal scored here by Seraphim Crimson once again at 2 points here. But they were at 2 points before. Can Space Train bring it back again?
Yeah, like I said, before this whole match started, we've seen like Space Train be able to pull some rabbits out of their hats. They have a very like dynamic team, something that can like change the flow of the match in an instant, just like with how these characters work. So being able to like fight around that is paramount for Seraphim Crimson.
Yeah, and they are playing around it pretty well so far. The hit from Malachi actually almost got the kill there. Good patience from Yugo against that piercing shot, not hitting directly into it, as I have done a time or two, many. And we see Odnarb going forward with that core flip as well. The Crater Maker comes out, but a good dodge, actually just physically moving out of the way, saves the core flip. We also have Estelle with the core flip running forward. Zentaro getting pretty close. A lot of energy on the field. The game will explode any second now, but so far, so good. The pillars are being used very sparingly when they are necessary to keep those cooldowns alive, keep the defense going. Core flip comes out. Oni's blade comes out. Not enough. And the Crystal Thorns is enough to get it through Yugo, just a fraction of a second too late on that Twin Drive, unfortunately. And that is a goal scored by Space Train. Did have to use the core flip for it, but they still have two available on the Rune and Zentaro.
Yeah, for sure. Also, thank you. But I definitely like see that, and I am a firm believer of spend the cash when you have it. Like, do not save your meter for the next. Don't necessarily have to save your meter for the next round every single time. I can understand being a little bit leery with it, but if you are in dire straits or you want to like close out, say like this, like a match or a set, yeah, you got it. Use it, burn it if you think you've got the shot. So by all means, if they feel like they have an opportunity, they should use it right, just exactly like that. Just decided to guarantee it. No frills, no fuss, no muss. Just nope, this one's going in.
And speaking of core flip usage, though, I just want to highlight a couple things there. Malachi with the tragic pixel perfect or pixel imperfect core flip there actually saved the enemy barrier and had to burn the core flip to take the barrier, when I believe what he wanted to do was have the barrier taken, then core flip into the opening goal. And then, of course, the core flips all used by the side of Chikara Train. So the Crystal Thorn's being used, Piercing Shot as well to get it through the corner, but that's a lot of abilities used. The Pillar comes out as well, and this core flip on Yugo is still there, not invested there to defend the barrier. It can be a little hard to be sure if it's going to reach there, so is going to like to save it as long as possible. And Snare Drums comes out, but the Piercing Shot is going to win the interaction up there. Great strike war, though, by Malachi. Good patience on it. No! The Luna Dash! No!
Classic.
You hate to see it, and the thing with that, there's so many times, especially on keyboard Luna, you kind of get used to holding down keys, and so you're holding down a key. If Yugo just lets go of the keyboard there and slams into the wall, it's completely fine. He goes back, might be able to run and catch it, might just burn the core flip for it. But there's so many times, and even now when I play Luna, sometimes I'll catch myself holding a key when I really shouldn't be, and it basically is a self-stun for like 3-4 seconds. And Luna doesn't take the Deadeye here. It was nerfed, but it's still very good on her. Is going to opt for the prime time, maybe denying away the Estelle, but she still gets aerials. So I consider that a bit of a misdraft.
Yeah, it's kind of a 6. I can definitely see, like, yeah, if you wanted to, like, not let Estelle get prime time, but that's still kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and you miss out on what I personally feel still one of your best in slots. So I don't know about that.
And Malachi is going to fall there, unfortunately. Yugo does get some fancy tech, but unfortunately doesn't get the strike in time. I think it was maybe just not up. But a great strike war with the whammy rocket. Molten Bulk is a little wide, but seems that even with Malachi gone, Seraphim Crimson still hitting really strong. Bit of a anime-style power spike there when your friend dies. Just able to win every interaction, open up the goal. Bit of a missed dash there, unfortunately. It seems that Yugo's getting a little bit too trigger happy with that twin drive. It kind of can be... Oh, great Crater Maker, though, gets it forward. Good interactions there and good awareness of that Luna ult. But it's one of those things I was going to say on twin drive, and even prime time as well, you can kind of get into a habit of burning your abilities too quickly, and it ends up being a situation where it's almost worse to get the awakening because it puts you a sense of false confidence and just wasting abilities, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, I have 4 uses of my abilities plus ultimate. Nothing is going to, like, ever go wrong again, but then it's like, no, everything can still go very wrong because, yeah, you have 4, but that's still not infinite, you know what I mean? Next thing, those 4 can go very, very fast. But very nice plays on, I would say, like, the Crater Makers at the very least. Those are still being pointed very, very well. As well as, honestly, I'm seeing a lot of good banishes come out from Rune, from Abarb, and just very good defense on their parts. Very good offense, though, on the part of Yugo. Just just rammed her head into him, so hey.
Great passing play as well from Seraphim Crimson to secure that goal. And Audnarb, unfortunately, burning the core flip there. Thought it could reach it. It's one of those things on goalie. Sometimes you think, oh, I'll just burn whatever I can just in the hope that it gets there. But sometimes it's a better play to just not go for it. We've seen, of course, though, Seraphim Crimson great at getting those first 2 points, not as great at getting the secure on the set, but less of an energy advantage this time means it might stop that from happening. Some great ability usage, though, gets 2 barriers, and Seraphim Crimson looks like they might be going down here. Shikara Space Train with a lot of stuff, and that's a piercing shot with the hit stun to secure the goal. 22 seconds, and Chikara Space Train is once again on top of things with a core flip on that Estelle, and I mean, I don't want to jinx him too bad, but Seraphim Crimson, it's looking like a little bit of a pattern with the 2 set into getting reverse swept, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, third first, same as the first it might end up being, and I know they do not want that to happen. I know they've got to be, like, talking about, at the very least, thinking about, like, no, we cannot let this happen again. We cannot let this happen 3 straight times.
There we
And
go.
yeah, there we go. They do not. Very nice flip, straight punched into the north side, and they get on the board. They get a set. Very, very much needed MVP and draft there. Some solid stuff I'm seeing for all of them. Hotshot, Prize Fighter, Reptile Remedy, maybe even Stacks. There's a lot there.
Yeah, a lot to do. Explosive Energy is going to be going the way of Drakkar, more kill potential. Almost would have liked to see the cast to last deny, but Spark of
Yeah.
Focus going to Luna for more of that cool interruption is really nice with the Twin Drive Prime Time, but I almost would have liked to see the Hot Shot because it is actually kind of sleeper OP on Luna. I've been taking a lot in my games, and it's just so much core speed with your... It's almost an instant red core off of Twin Drive. Malachi, though, getting it not too bad, is going to have so much cooldown reduction with heavy impact extra special hot shot. Almost gets full refunds every couple of seconds, so maybe that's the play. They're just letting Malachi get as much as possible off that.
Quite possibly, if they want Malachi to like just be kind of like the front man, so to speak. Also, we back. It's just it's one of those things where you have to kind of like trust that your team kind of like has a game plan and just follow through with it, because it can be a dangerous move to kind of like pivot your game plan mid-match, but sometimes it's necessary, right? But you do that and you risk basically not having your game plan at full strength and allowing your opponents to kind of take advantage of that. And what they took advantage of right there was a little bit of a gap in defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, you go with the Twin Drive, not with the Drive, with the Rocket Dash there, being a little out of position, thought that it would go top, but the Crystal Thorns just took it right back to where he was. Now, I think he already used Strike, so it wouldn't have done too much to stay there, but always unfortunate to see that, but always fortunate to see squeezing it through that tiny gap, or rather, unfortunate for the side of Oddnarb, who you invested the pillar there and didn't have it pay off, unfortunately. But it's an open goal on both sides still. The banish is really nice and has been really nice all game long from Oddnarb. Haven't given enough credit nearly for that. The core flip comes out of Joaquin there. Rocket, though, does as well. The piercing shot narrowly saved there by Yugo. And we have the ensnare drums coming out there. The core flip invested, but so is the Crater Maker. So many abilities being used so quickly here. The Rami comes out. The piercing shot is not saved there. Unfortunately, Yugo greeting the core flip a little bit. And now Chikara Space Train is 1 point away from taking the game.
Yeah, again, just that was the moment to burn core flip. I feel their backs are heavily against the wall now. They need to throw everything at this Chikara Space Train team that has just been shutting down their attempts at offense right when they need to. Their one does go out, and look at that. They immediately get that double barrier. Spend the cash.
Yeah, really nicely done, but is answered by Huachi onside. The core flip, the strike war not won by Master Axe Malachi there, but will get up to the top. Great defense there, pulling back on the Estelle, able to be that second defense. And great dash from Huachi, gets the read on Yugo for the point. And this seems to be somewhat of a story with Seraphim Crimson, unfortunately, is you take one set against them and it can really get them in that funk. They really have a hard time breaking out of that, it would seem. And I want to see them build that up. They've been getting better and better and better, but I'd say that's one of the main weaknesses of this team. They are really skilled players on Seraphim Crimson, but that is one of their critical flaws, and brilliantly exploited there by Chikara Space Train, who never gave up, even though it was 2-0 in those sets. They just said, we have an energy advantage, we'll burn what we can, we'll take a point, we'll take 2 points, we'll take that third one, and it just begins that spiral. And really nicely played. I'd say really solid, even mental across the board for Chikara Space Train, not really giving up, playing fairly consistently throughout. Not too many major mistakes that I saw.
No, I agree with you. Not too many major mistakes. They just stayed the course. They said, like, no, we got this. Just hold on. We take it point by point and we win. And that's exactly what they did. Like, 2 behind, that's not 3. That's not 3. That's not losing the set. So they just said, nope, let's just lock in. Let's just step by step, punch by punch, hit by hit, and look at who won. It's like the mental game for OS is not something to be underestimated. It can be very easy to think all is lost, but no, these things can go back and forth. Like there's a reason why we kind of semi-meme about like reverse comebacks and whatnot, and saw that here today.
Yeah. But again, this is still only week 1. It is still only match 2. There is plenty of chance for Seraphim Crimson to come back. So one defeat right now, good learning experience more than anything else. if, they have the opportunity to see that weakness on display, to work on it, I think if they fix that one thing, easily Seraphim Crimson best team in the tournament. Not even close. But they have to get through that. They have to fix that. And I'm going to look forward to how they do in the rest of the season. But we will have one more match of the Swiss to get to after a short break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is going to be the last round of Swiss taking place on Night Market, and we're going to have Hype Moments and Aura versus Throwing Hard or Hardly Throwing. And it should be a pretty fun match. Night Market is a pretty bloody map usually, so it's always fun to see how they KO and do things. And it's going to be a bulk up primetime start, so a lot of opportunities there. Going to be an instant Rasmus ban followed by a Vice ban, and the Juno first pick. So a little bit less kill, but I have seen a Juno cook a little bit on this map before.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, with that Julie, that personally makes me a little bit excited because I love seeing Julie on Night Market just because I feel like it's a map that helps cater to her strengths and shore up a couple of her weaknesses, that speed gate in the center, allowing for a little bit more mobility and just having those lanes kind of like cut off a lot of like escape, allowing Julie to get some cheeky kills if you're not hyper aware of where you are at all times. Honestly, same thing though goes for the Asher. If the Asher is, like a forward Asher or like something around those lines, it could be taken in the goalie box, but I'm kind of hoping for forward Asher there.
Yeah, could be forward Asher. Um, could really rotate around. I mean, now goalie is a thing, but I think it's a little
Mhm.
less popular. Um, Although, if they don't have a forward Asher, the Juno now forward is going to be pretty difficult to actually score with, especially against something like a Mako. Probably on the defense with that Mako, you generally don't see people. I know we just had the example of Master X Mako Kai, but he is generally the exception on that one, not the rule. So
Right.
most likely it's going to be into that Mako defense, which is really tough to go up against if you don't have something solid to really just shove through. But we are going to see in just a little bit what that actually ends up being. And I'm imagining that on a lot of these characters, it's going to be bulk uptake because it's just really strong right now. So much power and the survivability as well. It's almost a take every single time. Although I could see something like the Now picking up prime time just to have a little bit more power there. Or
Yeah.
more.
Sorry.
No, no, you go.
But yeah, I do mostly agree with that. Just bulk up is just plain good. So most of them, it would make sense for them to go for that. I actually though, I do want to say I could see a theoretical argument for Juno picking up prime time. Just basically saturation tactics, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like she would also do fairly all right with like a primetime pickup, being willing to sacrifice the bulk up for it.
Yeah. The Juno pickup on the prime time would be really good. Or the prime time pickup on the Juno. Uh, yeah, saturation is a valid strategy with Juno, but I think in general, it's better to go for that bulk up. Sort
Hmm.
of, it is an argument of quality versus quantity, but the
Yeah,
core speed that bulk up affords and the ability to brawl it out with people, because Juno actually does do a surprising amount of damage if you get it
yeah.
through, and so I think bulk up is the pick here, but I can definitely see prime time as well. There's a fair chance for it, but it is going to be Asher on that goalie, so. We're going to have to see how ZZ's and the Juno manage to actually get it through here, if they're able to get through the Mako. The one advantage that they have is that with the double midfielder, if they have their passing play down, they will be able to go around Mako. But that's going to be a lot more difficult with something like the IME that can respond to a lot of different threats and a lot of different angles really easily with that glitch pop.
Yeah, I just have to agree with you on that. It's going to be a trial and it's going to be a test of their teamwork and coordination. Just they don't, like you said, they don't have the ability to just kind of like shove it through. Meanwhile, on the other side, they do have a surprising amount of just threat and general control over, I feel like, the map. I mean, now by herself is a constant threat in the backfield. So just being able to like have those arrows go out and those mines happen, that is just a concern there. I mean, once the game actually gets started.
Some technical difficulties, it seems, does happen on occasion. Maybe someone forgot, maybe picked the wrong starting awakening, picked the wrong goalie gear. I mean, especially on that first week of OSAS, a lot of teams is their first tournament, maybe their first time being on stream.
True.
So, you hate to see it when it goes like this, Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Means that unfortunately the tournament will go a little bit later, but with the slimming down to not have that tiebreaker match and going to the two qualifiers, we actually already one game early if you really think about it. So not too bad to have these, although you do want to minimize them. So if you are a player in a tournament, do your best to, make the TOs happy. Do what you can to get things going. If you get into the lobby and you're the first one there, set up the starting awakening, set up the map, set up what you can. Call that coin flip later on in other tournaments. So do what you can to make it go fast, but every now and then something happens. Sometimes you can't do anything about it. It's not your fault. And even if it is, at the end of the day, a few minutes here or there is not the end of the world.
Yeah, for sure. We're here to have fun, ultimately. Like, yes, this is technically a tournament setting, but tournaments can be fun. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a blast. So we're going to try and get right back into it again. Like I said, a couple of minutes, no biggie. And hopefully we can get this one rocking and rolling and see what these two teams are made of.
Mm-hmm. And last time we did see all of Hardly Throwing pick up that prime time. So going to be interesting to see if maybe that was a mistake and that's what they're restarting for, or if actually I do believe the the thing that I'm forgetting is that we can actually see Juno's name now. So I thought that was what the restart was for. PSA to make sure that when you load into a game, if you launch Omega Strikers on tournament day, even if you're just warming up before the tournament, make sure that you do a few things. Your name is on, and you have no banned names equipped. And then have fun. Make sure that you don't, play too much, don't get yourself burnt out before the tournament. But it is going to be that Spectre Scythe Juno that we can now see the name of. Thank you very much. And it is going to be that still Mom Boots Asher and the triple primetime start versus double bulk up on the side of Hype, Moments, and Aura. So they might be farming some kills as well as some Aura this game. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, right now with just like the one barrier down, you can kind of see that already they're having a bit of an issue trying to get past that concentrated like defense, aside from what was that nearly. But in general, if throwing hard can, kind of like make their offensive plays a lot, if they can make them, like consistently, then they shouldn't have too much of a problem. But just a nice shot straight in for Hype Moments gets them that first goal. So that's something that Hardly Throwing is going to have to watch out for. That very surprisingly direct approach, because if I recall correct, like Now and Juno, not exactly, shall we say, defensively minded.
It really depends on how you play them. They can be surprisingly effective on the defense, but it really does take a fine hand on that. So while they're not generally defensively minded, if you know what you're doing and you're really confident on the character, they actually have a lot of tools that they can use. But unfortunately, one of those tools is not a core flip. Malarkey unfortunately burned. There's their core flip also burned from Vexed Lol. And we're going to see some passing play around here. They're trying to win the strike war in the middle, but of course there's a slime as well there, so it's actually difficult to get it through there. Great core flip, though, from Muldrifter. Is only for the first barrier, and generally I'd consider that not worth, but it does break a stalemate. So, it is something to be said for just the momentum and the mind of the game. And unfortunately, the dash punch a little bit too late there. Didn't quite catch the core with it. And the clear not successfully completed, though, because it's still in the corner here. The firewall sentry is really nice, but the core flip is amazing from Spectre Sight there. Goes all the way around the firewall sentry, finds that very narrow angle, and unfortunately for the side of Hype Moments and Aura, that strike shot just did not connect.
Yeah, Vexed a little bit forward, and the timing was just not quite right. So Hype Moments gave that one up a little bit. So now we are tied. Honestly, both teams have been showing a lot of fight, looking fairly even, I would say, as that first barrier goes down. Muldrifter has been kind of, I feel like they've been kind of very much on the forefront, trying to stay in the face of Sandeity, which you're kind of supposed to do that as a Julie. You're supposed to always kind of like be this constant threat, so those kind of pushes can happen. So very good on them to be able to find that kind of offense, and like great placement on that turret from Malarkey.
Yeah, really nicely set up there. Good midfield forward presence there. Able to great glitch pop as well there. Malarkey really showing up here. But of course, there is a Slime in the midfielder that kind of stopped the clear from happening too much. Slime's coming out. Unfortunate night market bounce there to make sure that the core doesn't go forward. But it is still edging its way slightly to the left, just inch by inch, slight bit by slight bit. And then immediately one ability is used and it's all the way on the right side of the map. So these teams fairly even in the strike wars in the middle, but every now and then something comes out like the primary from Vex there in the back to make things flip all over the place. Great flurry there, kills the Asher with the glitch pop as well from Malarkey in the midfield. And then they're able to score off of the dead goalie. So really nice pickup there. I think it was the glitch pop that got it done in the end. So is going to be the well-deserved MVP there. The option to pick up the team player heavy impact on Aimee as well is amazing. Or just a first-round Sparkle leadership and hope that you can stack.
Yeah, and yeah, going with the heavy impact, that's what I was about to say. The heavy impact on Aimee just gives her a whole lot more threat, like very, very suddenly. And it's also kind of good on them to take the Reptile Remedy to like avoid even more healing. All basically trying to avoid giving them the possibility to resist kind of like this offensive pressure that they're putting out now. You can kind of see where they're going with it with these first drafts. Got the team player set up as well. So yeah, honestly, very, very good draft, I feel, for hype moments with throwing hard. Not exactly getting bad picks by any means, but it is something that I would say like hype moments kind of got the better of that pick for what I'm seeing with their game plan is.
Yeah, one of the other things as well is Among Titan not getting picked up there. I think a bit of a mistake here because in the right hand that can be a brutal awakening, especially for a team that wants to rotate so much like Hardly Throwing with this comp. I feel like that movement speed on either Juno or now would be amazing. Of course, though, having that extra strength on the Juno is quite nice, just preventing the Mako as well from stacking that up too. But Mako team player, didn't even mention that one. Is really, really good. When she gets that passive set up, it's basically an instant red core, so much speed there. And again, we were talking earlier, like, it's just slight things sometimes that make all the difference here. So getting that extra speed from out of nowhere might be the thing to just blow this game wide open.
Yeah, very nice flip to try to avoid that barrier being taken. Vexed, honestly, all of hype moments have been doing pretty good, except for that bit of a commentator's curse. Night Market Angle goes in and gets them scored on. Spectre Scythe, immediate catch, and just straight line feed into the bottom corner.
Yeah, it was a really nice redirect there by ZZ's as well. Not sure if it was entirely intentional with the now secondary hitting it backwards into the Night Market angle, but if it was, that is some geometry right there, because that was an impressive angle to hit. Good Cyber Swipe Glitch Pop combo there from Malarkey. Does get the kill, but can they get anything from it? They might get one barrier, Sendity not going to use the core flip there, and I think that's a wise choice. That first barrier, not worth too much, not worth the core flip there. But the core flip is going to be used there. ZZ's sacrificing the life so that the clear could happen with the Firewall Sentry, and off the core flip they're actually getting a barrier, so really worth the death there, even though it is a little bit sad. That's going to be the core flip coming out here from Aimee, not defended by the Path Splitter, unfortunately for Hardly Throwing. Strike War won by the Juno, the Slime comes out, beats out Mole Drifter there, and the primary from Vexed also comes out and misses, unfortunately, so that open goal on both sides from out of nowhere. Core flip comes out and straight through Sandeity, and hype moments in Aura, doing a little bit of Aura farming, you know? They miss a goal, they miss a barrier here or there, but that's just part of the process, part of the experience, part of the giving more game time so you can kill them more.
Yeah, but honestly, I do have to... I'm going to do a little bit of actually glazing. Malarkey has been absolutely on point with, like, everything, to be quite frank. Like, some very good glitch pops, some very good cyber swipes. Look at that combo! Malarkey with, like, the cyber... speaking of it, like, the cyber swipe, get him low. Mole Drifter immediate with the follow-up with a flurry for the kill, for the power play, and then the passing between each other for the point. That was really good. That was, dare I say it, hype.
Yeah, that it was. A little bit of a mistake on that one. I don't want to glaze too much. The corner bouncer with glitch up was not perfectly executed. I think that was a little unintentional. There's a goal opportunity to score just a little bit faster, but could also just be farming Aura, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just say that was an intentional pass. But if you are looking to improve, one of those things is that worked out really well there. And glitch up also amazing there from Malarkey. But if you're looking to improve, especially in OSAS, if something goes well, that doesn't necessarily mean that it went the way you wanted it to, and that doesn't mean that you necessarily did a good job. Now, it worked out well, but always pay attention to how it could have gone as well. So, Malarkey with the core flip there, really nicely done. That was a really good setup. That is perfectly executed. If it's anything less than perfectly executed, which is all the way up even through Nassel, the thing to do is not to rest on your laurels. It's to go and see how could I make that just one little bit better. And Malarkey, at that point, did even that one little bit better. So props to Malarkey, props to that, and has some options here. Not necessarily the cream of the crop for Imi Awakenings, but that Super Surge is definitely really strong.
Yeah, for sure. They are more than happy with that one already. Just honestly, a lot of good options for hype moments. Big Fish, bit taken, but hey, Glass Cannon also perfectly fine with them. Yeah, I definitely say hype moments got the better draft here. They have every possibility to just like keep rolling. And to your point, yes, it is kind of like one of those things you have to kind of like watch out for if things don't go exactly your way. However, I would also say that one of the hallmarks of being a good team is being able to take advantage of chaos that happens, like when it happens, and take advantage of moments kind of like that, actually. Just find a spot, find an opportunity, and grab onto it.
Yeah, is definitely a pro strat there is, things won't always go to plan, so make sure that you plan around it. And hardly throwing, well, they might have been throwing for a little bit, but they might be hardly throwing now. Picking up that goal, picking up the kill, really nice way to turn this around. And I definitely agree that the draft didn't necessarily go their way, but it doesn't really have to go your way. Just make the best with what you got. Do what you can, counter the glitch pop with a really nice barrier beam there from Sand Deity, and just keep the bounces going your way. Don't do what you don't have to do. Don't waste strikes when you don't have to. And just beautiful ability usage. One barrier does go down, but there's still one standing, so pretty fine there. Unfortunate angle there from ZZ's, doesn't get the connection he's looking for. But that is going to be some passes back and forth, some time bought here. ZZ's whiffing the strike, unfortunately, whiffing the primary as well. Barrier is still standing, but unfortunately the Asher Dash does not connect. The core flip might have to be invested here, but actually it's not going to be invested. The goal is scored, the recovery drone is popped, and hype moments in Aura, giving them 1 point just to farm a little bit more.
Very, very nice play on their part. Muldrifter having full energy, full flip, as is Vexed. A little bit something gone awry there, got that barrier taken. So definitely they are trying to take advantage, are throwing hard, hardly throwing, trying to like push forward on that one, but that didn't quite happen. Very nice defense though.
Yeah, but that is an open goal here for the side of Aura. So this is the chance that Hardly Throwing is looking for. They've gotten the clear, they're getting the defense, they're trying to get this offense up, but it's so difficult with this double midfield to actually get up there. Unfortunately, the core goes by. Sandy not wanting to invest that core flip. A little bit of a mistake there. You let it go by, you think you can get the strike, and then it's a little bit too late. And now it's goals open on both sides, but Spectre Scythe is trying to make it work. Their core flip forced out by Slime and a drone there. A lot of stuff invested here. The Slime's going forward. ZZ's as well trying to get connection through to this Juno, but the dash punch connects through. Sand Deity just not wanting to let go of this core flip, and unfortunately it's a little bit too greedy. And now Aura 1 point away.
Said it before, I will say it again until I am as blue as that meter is. Spend your cash if you got it. You ain't getting enough, like, there's no reason to save it for like the next game. Unfortunately, you gotta know when someone is going to be able to do it. You gotta have a good timing on it, and unfortunately, ZZ's and Sandeity kind of blew both of them at the same time. Yes, spend your cash, but two people don't need to spend on one day.
A little bit unfortunate. We have Hardly Throwing picking a comp that requires almost a level of mechanical precision and team play. And props to them for giving it a try, but unfortunately it seems that they just don't have what it takes just yet to pull this off. And Aura is taking advantage of that, not letting you get the setups that they're looking for, interrupting all of the passes that they're trying to go for. And, when slight moments break, when there's not perfect communication, great defense there, though, against the dash punch can be difficult to play with, so props to Sand Deity for that one. Isn't a complete sweep. There is fighting here, and it's not over just yet. There is a potential for Hardly Throwing to come out of this, especially if it goes into overtime. Dash is really nice. They're investing the ability to go forward, but it is right down to the wire here. Good clear goes to the Slimes as well. The red cores are all over the place in overtime. That favors this Juno now comp because they have so many projectiles they can throw around, so many things that they can do, but you have to get it through. The strike shot is a little bit backwards. They're good night market angle there. Core flip as well, whiffed by Vexlol, and this could be the resurgence here for Team Blue. They're trying to get it through. Great pass around the dash punch. The slime goes up into the drone, but the drone decays, unfortunately. Path Splitter comes out to counter the Firewall Sentry as well. The strikes are warring on the top. The Glitch Pop comes out. The core flip comes out as well. The strike is used too early, and that is a great clear, but the core is red. Down over to the Juno and the counter. Vexlol not getting the sword angle, and that is another goal here for Hardly Throwing, who now appear to be Hardly Throwing, taking us to this fifth point. Let's see if they can take us to a fifth set.
Was excellent. Like, just being able to have that mental to hold on and keep pushing, just very nice, even throughout all the troubles that they were having. ZZ's was having a little bit of a trouble with, like, getting these right angles, getting these clears, getting these abilities set up in the right spot, but didn't give up on it. They got the barriers. Spectre trying their absolute best to get these placements, and now is their opportunity to get a set, kind of maybe like mentally reset, and hopefully get a couple of awakenings that could help favor them, help turn this tide. Meanwhile, you can definitely see that Hype Moments do not want this momentum to start going their way, but very nice defense on Sandeity's part. Yeah, they were trying to like turn it up a little bit, but now they've got a power play to defend against.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Juno a little bit too close to the edge there. Spectre becoming a Spectre in the face of that Glitch Pop. Really nicely set up there by Malarkey. And the defense, though, from Sandeity, really nice clear there. Keeps from hitting the barrier. The Slimes go red corner across. Again, we are in overtime, and that is a core flip burn from this IME. The Ensnare Drums comes out as well, but it's not really that much of a prison with that Monumentalist pickup. Was a great deny from the now, but it's just so massive as well that it doesn't actually block that much. Almost getting a goal from downtown as well. Sandeity has the core flip as well. Let's see if it is invested. It is going to be hang on to for a little bit longer. We're going to see if it's too much. There we go. Does burn the flip. Nicely done there. Flip as well. Burn from Vexed. And that is going to be the set secured by Hardly Throwing. Had us on tenterhooks there. Very close to being knocked out, but not quite just yet. And Juno being the first pick, there is potential for some great awakenings to come out here. Something like the aerials, the stacks on stacks, even extra special, Deadeye as well. So many good options.
Yeah, going for the aerials, entirely fair. Like I said, Juno had a wealth of options there. Just very, very nice placement on that last shot. And yeah, this is their opportunity. Stacks on stacks, try and get a little bit more mobility out of that now. Built different, help with that defense. Yeah, I'm liking this for throwing hard. I'm liking these, but not to say that Hype Moments did not get some very, very scary awakenings on their own. Just that is a murderer's row of real dangerous awakenings.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential here for Aura to farm both kills and Aura as per usual. The Glitch Pop, though, is going to be dodged by a really great dash from Scythe. Pass down through the middle as well. Good angle is found, but that Cyber Swipe is so brutal with heavy impact, bulk up, and Super Surge, and Deadeye killed from so far away. You have to be so incredibly careful. Sandeity as well is going to get Glitch Popped off the map. There goes the recovery drone, but is still alive for now at the very least. Isn't going to fall so easily. Almost gets Cyber Swipe Glitch Pop combo, but Spectre Scythe was aware of the distance this time, just barely keeping it alive, and actually forcing out the abilities is really nice. So Aimee doesn't have those for another couple of seconds, but the Ensnare Drums is going to whiff, not actually connecting there. Cyber Strike comes out, really nice strike away from Sandeity, who now has that core flip as well. Secondary comes out from now, Slime as well, pass down to Self, but it's interrupted by that Night Market center barrier, and they're just not getting the purchase that they need to really get it through. Great bait there from Sandeity. Core flip as well is on top of things, made the mistake earlier, but is not making the same mistake twice. Kudos to Sandeity on that learning, even just in the span of one game. Great strikes as well by Scythe with the manual redirect on the Slimes. Path Splitter comes out, red cores all over the place in overtime. Sandeity going to go for the pass up to the top, but it is going to be Cyber Swipe back down over to the bottom where Scythe is sitting. And we just have Mole Drifter interrupting these passes. Red cores all over the place. They're trying to get this barrier, but Vexed is just on top of things.
Just absolute incredible defense. And I have to say, like, Throwing Hard has definitely like stepped it up. Their passing has improved, their set play has improved, their defense has improved. Beautiful like stuff on that flip by Spectre's side. It's just not quite it's like just a hair too little. Very nice on Drifter punching that through. But yeah, Throwing Hard suddenly squaring up and putting up a much stronger fight than we'd seen earlier in this match for these earlier sets.
Yeah, and we see, though, so many abilities being whiffed there. Unfortunately, we're talking about the precision, but it is still unfortunate that you see that happening. They've improved, but they're not totally there just yet. They're trying their best. They're learning. They are improving. Let's see if it is enough. Unfortunately, the barrier goes down. Sand Deity, probably the one that has improved the most over the course of one game, which is always incredible to see. Almost a great combo there from Malarkey. I love to see people going for those kinds of things. Great defense as well from Sand Deity, though, with that primary. The core flip comes out, goes over to the corner, hits the perfect angle to secure that. Passing up to the top to Self there, a little bit greedy, not go for the pass to the now, but was also a tight angle to cut, so it is a little safer as well in some ways. Slime comes out down to the bottom. The primary comes out from the Mako. Core flip on the ZZs. I'm looking at that right now. That is a potential to sink it through. The proximity drone is used. The core flip, so many abilities used, but unfortunately doesn't hit the angle to the bottom. That's actually a great clear here by the side of Aura. They get it through. The Firewall Sentry comes out, but it is cleared around. The angle is actually hit from the other side, but it is defended by Sand Deity. This time not going to lose the barrier that easily. Dash Punch comes through a little bit early. The core was not there. Red coring from the Slimes, and the narrow cut to the top there. Vexed a little bit too far down there after the previous defense. And you can see the hype from Sand Deity bouncing all over the place, using the emotes, using the expressions as well. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, like you said, like Sand Deity in particular has seemingly like leveled up mid-game, and that's all. And like you said, that's always great to see. Like, yep, figured it out, learned it. Although I might have commentators curse that, and that's something you can't really learn, I'm afraid. But props to all three of them for like turning it up heavy style and making sure that this is a bigger challenge than it seemed to be. Although it does seem like Hype Moments are like we're about to end this right now. They do not want the Hype to go the way of Throwing Hard.
They do not indeed. And a slight energy advantage as well, or the core flip on this Aimi. Great find on the barrier there as well. Taking the lead is Hardly Throwing. Almost getting a kill into Malarkey as well. I think a Slime just kind of caught Aimi from the side a little bit closer, and that was actually a death. Slime comes out here, Cyber Swipe dodged around, nicely done. The proximity drone comes out, the Ensnare drums are forced out as well. The passing play is really nice. The glitch drop comes out, but the connections on the passes aren't quite perfect. Great counter on that flip, though. Malarkey's flip getting essentially nothing but a little bit of time. Glitch drop coming out, getting that top barrier as well. The Cyber Swipe comes out, the flurry as well, forcing out the core flip. Unfortunate clear from Spectre, actually. Blocking that out and getting it back to the enemy team, but it does happen and actually did end up working out pretty well in the end, tripping them up. Passing down to the middle, the proximity drone comes out, and so does the Cyber Swipe Glitch Pop combo. Malarkey hitting it really nicely, but there actually goes a barrier in the negative power play, and a little bit of time farming here as well. Sand Deity trying to get something done, but does set up for the dash punch, unfortunately. Strike Shot comes out, Glitch Pop comes out as well. The jumping Juno blobos all the way around. The Night Market angles as well. We're getting everything in the last few seconds here. Firewall Sentry comes out with the Cyber Swipe as well. The Glitch Pop used as well. Hit stun from ZZ's wins the Strike War. Spectre's trying to get it forward, and in the end, Juno's going to send it down and dash to the top. Nice checkmate there from Mole Drifter. If the Asher tries to go up to the top there, the dash punch was there to secure it. Nicely done and nicely won from the side of Hype Moments and Aura.
Yeah, just very strong showing from them in general. I have to say that Hype Moments and Aura, they did kind of pick it back up. They realized they were getting a little bit too far away, and they turned it up. It took them a little bit, it seemed like, because Throwing Hard kind of cranked it up to like the next level, which you want in OSAS, and Hype Moments and Aura was forced to respond. And that's the kind of growth that you want to see in these matches. Especially when it's this early and they're fighting this hard, they're learning this quick. Yes, please. More of that. Thank you.
More of that indeed. But also, more Mega Strikers later. We still have an entire bracket to get through, but we'll cut to a short break before that.
Welcome back once again. This is P Flair. I am with AJ Cannon, and this is OSAS Week 1 of Season 12. Can you believe it? We are here with another match, yes, more, and this time it is Project Tides versus the Platinum Horde. This one seems like it might be interesting because I am unfamiliar with these two particular teams. What say you, AJ?
I've seen a couple of people on a couple of these teams around a couple of times, but not super familiar. I am aware that Chicken Tendies plays a fair bit of IME, or at least did a long time ago. I ran into Chicken Tendies in the queues. I think it was a couple seasons ago, even at this point. But pretty solid IME player, pretty solid person to play with. Got to shout him out. I'll try to keep the bias out of it, though. We're going to have, of course, Night Market here. It's going to be a fun one. And then it's going to be the explosive entrance and the glass cannon, meaning that IME, pretty good with either of those, depending on the way that you play the IME. But if you like going for the cyber swipes, then, or rather cyber swipe glitch pop combos even, explosive entrance actually helps out a ton with those. I'm looking forward to see how this pick ban goes. Of course, if you have that knowledge on chicken tendies, which maybe I just doxed that knowledge, but if you happen to know that there's an IME one trick, not quite one trick, but if you just ban the IME, makes the team a lot weaker. And we've seen that a lot in OSAS throughout. You find the one trick, you ban the one trick. That is the classic age-old advice that I've always given. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Just these two awakenings honestly, these two awakenings on this map immediately make me think that both teams are going to want to kind of like play around this, expect it, and I would not be surprised if it kind of like devolved into a bit of a slugfest. But that's just me and my unquenchable desire for gratuitous violence. So we are going to indeed have to see how it will actually play out because I have wished for it before and gotten some immaculate technical play instead. So who knows?
I mean, you can't even mad at that point, Sure, you want blood. Sure, it's very satisfying. But if you get to just stand in awe of some great pass play and some great team play as well, it is pretty nice nonetheless. It is taking a little bit to get into the select here. Teams working out their plans, working out things like that. It does happen occasionally. You do love to see people thinking about the game. So it can be interesting to see what they manage to cook up here on that. But it does mean that we have to yap for a little bit longer here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Glass Cannon for a little bit because I think it's a really good awakening that doesn't get enough love.
Actually, go ahead. Yeah, I have been curious about a couple of these. I have been trying to get back into actively playing myself. So who knows if any of y'all out there playing, y'all might end up seeing me on my Luna. But yeah, what do you think about Glass Cannon? Because I have been considering it myself.
So the thing with Glass Cannon, right? A lot of people don't like to take it because, of course, if you get hit, then it basically doesn't become an awakening.
Hmm.
But that's only if you do get hit, which means that you basically get a burst of power and speed to set up a play, and then it basically functions like a setup awakening. Not necessarily on goalies, it's amazing, unless you're playing against like a person who's okiing you and you're just constantly hitting you. But even on midfield and forward, it's not necessarily top pick, but it's a solid B tier on a lot of characters because they have the opportunity to get that burst of speed in between the plays. So if you're the forward and the core you lose control of the core, it gets rebounded across. It's on the other side of the map. Everyone's attention is focused on your goalie and your midfield defending. During that time, you're stacking up the speed, you're stacking up the power, and that means that you get the opportunity to reposition, to play around a little bit, and then when it gets to you, you're a lot stronger. You can look for kill angles. It does play on not being paid attention to with that regard, but it does have its place, so I think that it's not as bad an awakening as some people do. But also, I said B tier, not A tier, not S tier. Don't go picking it over like 1-2 punch on Julie. But also, we're going to have an immediate Dubu and Aimi ban, and actually it's gonna be the Platinum Hordes, I believe, that are playing that are banning the Aimi there.
Yes. Kind of expected, but also kind of very not. I am definitely seeing some interesting picks here. First pick going to the Asher, which kind of makes sense as well. Kind of saw how Asher can rock on this map in particular. Can be very, very frightening, whether on defense or like as a forward. She can squish you and she can do it surprisingly easily. So unsurprising there in their surprisingness. But honestly, the character that I am looking at and I am also excited for is the Octavia. I
Mm-hmm.
like Octavia. Octavia is my secondary. So, yes, I am going to always enjoy seeing an Octavia. But that also is kind of concerning because in playing Octavia, I have learned that Octavia is someone that the entire team kind of needs to play around or kind of like sync with because Octavia has one thing she does. She go fast. She go very fast. But if the team isn't prepared to take advantage of that go fast, then things can get very out of control very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Octavia also tends to be a very selfish player. Uh,
Hmm?
just because of the way flow state works. You want to control the core, you want to be able to keep hitting it. And that means that your team kind of has to be playing around that. Uh, it is a really good team that is able to play around Octavia and actually allow passing play because it's kind of a game of how long can we keep it away from the Octavia and then get it back to her at the last second. How good is the Octavia at managing her abilities so that she can make use of a primary or an ultimate to be able to extend that between the passes when it's being kept away from her. The other thing is I really like to see it paired with the Atlas actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
just because one of the, and it's actually going to be Erasmus picked up there, was a bit of an error in the draft, it would seem. But I'm still going to talk about it because it's cool to talk about it.
yeah.
One of the most easy ways, or the easiest ways to deal with an Octavia is just to kill her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that much stagger. She is almost constantly running close to the edge, trying to dribble the core around. And she can move pretty fast to dodge abilities, but if you get the damage on her, you can just kill her, end her flow state. Don't worry about it. So there have been times when I've played a kill comp, given her everything she wants. You know, she gets cast to last, she gets stacks on stacks among Titans, even sometimes like Stagger Swagger when it was in rotation. Doesn't matter. You just kill her fast enough, none of it matters, and you just deal with the Octavia by taking her off the map. And that's one of the reasons why, might be a hot take, but stacks on stacks on Octavia is kind of weak. Not because it doesn't give speed, because it's great for speed, but it makes dying so much worse when they're already trying to kill you.
No, yeah, I agree with that. But unfortunately, for me, at the very least, yeah, we will not be seeing Octavia as it turns out. We will be seeing that Rasmus instead, which is honestly understandable. Rasmus, very good in general, but especially like on a map like this where the core can kind of go out of control. We've seen from prior games, just, it can hit those weird night market angles. We say that for a reason. But Rasmus, very good at kind of fixing that up, cleaning those night market angles up, and making them into essentially wild crossover dribbles that he then uses to kind of score on you while you've twisted your neck 180 degrees trying to follow the core.
Mm-hmm. One of the other things I'll point out is this is actually a Restel comp. They were able to secure the Estelle as that last pick. So
Hmm.
between Estelle teleporting to the other side and Rasmus's ability to hook with the pendulum, or not with the pendulum swing, with the Death's Touch into the pendulum swing, there's a lot of potential to just run the enemy around the map, to
Yeah.
just make use of that center barrier. Estelle is really good on Night Market if you're able to stay alive. Because she has a fair amount of kill potential, so that she can actually make use of things like the Quangle to just teleport piercing strike or piercing shot. And then the ability to teleport over the middle obstacle is another one of the reasons why Aimi and Juno are also really good, because they also can teleport over. And so you see a lot of these teams picking these characters so that if you try and rotate the core around them, they have some ability to respond to it. So we do have one on each team this time. So we're going to have Juno on one side and Estelle on the other. And I think the cooldowns there, don't quote me on it, are pretty similar on the Juno jump and the Rose Warp. So going to be pretty interesting to see how they manage that resource and how they're able to go against each other there. But of course, we did have a bit of a hiccup there for just a second. So we're going to get into game eventually. Don't worry. It is coming. But as always, first weekend bracket, a lot. Again, some of these teams might be the first time that they're actually playing with the certain setup that we have in OSAS. So don't want to fault them too much on that. It's a learning experience here. And so we'll be getting into game eventually. We're loading up here. And before too long, we'll be getting to see how these teams play out. One last thing, though. The Kai Juno comp there, quite squishy at times. So they're going to have to be careful there on Project Tide.
I'm not. Yeah, like I was kind of curious. Like the Juno is fine. I've seen Juno around on this map a lot as well. Kai, I've also seen, but it feels like Kai's effectiveness is very, very, very dependent on who's piloting him. So that's one of those things that you kind of. It's very kind of like wait and see. Zieko has to kind of show that yeah, I've got it. So let's see how this all shakes out. One full team of explosive entrants, which, being fair, is the team that can really make use of explosive entrants. And the only person with that glass cannon going to be Jiggle Supreme on that Atlas. Also very fair.
Yeah, I mean, especially since you get literally no use out of explosive entrance. You have no dash and no impact. That is going to be a barrier going down. Another one answered on the other side with the pendulum swing. The Rose Warp was getting a second one. Nice play from Chicken Tendies there. And the pass down to Hop the Frog. The Soren angle hit, but Crystal Thorns answered it. Really nice play, honestly. That sequence from both sides was quite good. The pass play, the layering of abilities from the side of the Platinum Horde. But also Project Tides, the Soren angle is hit beautifully by Emerald Volcano. It's not an easy angle to hit sometimes.
Nope.
So actually managed to execute that in the heat of the moment is really nice. But also, it is indeed the Juno goalie there, and Cake's crying a little bit there because it is the eject button. Forgive me for saying it instead of the mom boots. But I do think there is a place for it, especially with that explosive entrance, the ability to do a lot and get a lot done. But speaking of getting a lot done, on the other side, Double Barrier goes down. Iron Skull and Zieko on that Kai, able to actually get the double barrier there. And it's now an open goal here for the side of the Platinum Horde. And the Atlas is a little bit worse at defending the open goal than the Juno generally.
Yeah, Atlas, I say this all the time because it's still true. Atlas does not run, he walks. And Juno, on the other hand, can hop. Not only that, has those blobos, if absolutely necessary, try and defend away a little bit. So by all means, yeah, I would definitely say Juno a little bit better on that front. Meanwhile, it is Asher who is also very good at just shoving things through and bullying the core through. So props to them on that front. Also,
I will say the one thing about this Atlas is he is kind of running. He's getting a jog right now, not quite a dead sprint, but he's got that Mom Boots Glass Cannon combo. So as long as he doesn't get hit, he's actually going to be getting up to a lot of speed, up to 582, the fastest in the game, just about. So a lot of potential there. Core flip used there. Actually, a great kill there with the Astral Projection layering, I think it was as well. So good to find there onto the Asher as well, but can they find the goal? The core flip invested, really nice from Hop the Frog, not letting Iron Skull get back in the game, and I think that's a really good play. There is a case to be made that, you don't want to invest the core flip because a person's down, so you can probably score without it, but you want to score before they're back, and like you were saying, spend the cash while you have it. It's a very good point, but also a very good point, Iron Skull firing back.
For sure, that is the scariest thing you can quite possibly see on Night Market, just you near the edge and an Asher just walking up to you menacingly because you know exactly what's about to happen, and if you do not have the energy to evade, you've kind of got to accept your fate, I'm afraid. That's just how it is.
Yep. Really nice use of abilities there. The Pendulum Swing is defended against Piercing Shot. The Astral Projection both come out there. Hop the Frog almost able to get the barrier, but not quite. Slime goes up to the top side here. Jiggle Supreme running forward there. Some strikes thrown out there. Dash Punch as well missing. The Piercing Shot comes out into the Death Touch, but it is intercepted there by the Emerald Volcano. They're trying to keep it in this corner. Jiggle Spring even running up super far with this Atlas speed and actually getting a fair bit of forward presence, but it's not quite enough. Juno is intercepting so many things with the help of the Kai, but finally they get the angle there and get the Pendulum Swing as well. Right as it goes into overtime, Juno's out of position and they take advantage of it like that, and that really is the strength of Restel. is they just have so much core control that they are able to just go around you so often, and that is almost assuredly an immediate hot shot deny from that Juno. I'd be surprised if it is anything else.
Same. It's just they have so much ability to redirect the core in a snap. Meanwhile, Juno and Kai, honestly, all three of them really, they are very straight line like interceptors and defenders. Like Kai has a little bit more in that, with that dash, with that dash ability, but in general, they can intercept, but it's very straight line. Meanwhile, you've got on the other side Platinum Hulkport just able to say like, nope, core's going this way now, and before you can even like react, and that's very clearly like what they're kind of like banking on.
But nice slime with the barrage as well. That's a lot of damage onto Zieko though, so opportunity here to kill, but he is actually going to regenerate fairly quickly. Their Astral Projection does secure a barrier. Always love to see the Atlas goalies playing forward, especially if they have that much speed. It is just nice having that third forward effectively, and so it's a little greedy at times. It's a little risky, but I think right here he's fairly safe. He has the extra barriers. Leeway Piercing Shot comes out, countered by a nice barrage there from the Kai. Pass down to Hop the Frog through the middle, though. The team player on this Atlas paying dividends and getting it ultimately to the Atlas with the pendulum swing. And Platinum Horde really is running away with this game with the 1-set 1-point lead.
Absolutely. They know what the assignment is. They are executing it very well, honestly. Just a little bit of a miss there with that piercing shot, but they are about to make that up really quickly. Yep, there it goes. Just very nice consistency on their part, just being able to hold up. And like you said, with Jiggle Supreme just ready and waiting in that middle area, it's a threat that you're not always prepared for as another team. You kind of have to keep it in the back of your mind, but actually, like actively responding to it, entirely different kettle of fish.
That it is. It can be so difficult to actually put those things into practice. Even if you've actually practiced them, putting it into play on the day is another world. So, love to see things like that happening when they actually manage to pull off those plays. Great actually dribble there with the pendulum swing, getting that catch. The Astral also coming forward, but not getting back in time. Jumping Juno Blobos as well, getting a kill is the Kai with the Giga Blast on the bottom. Corpo comes out of the Kai with the slime as well, just in case. But it is going to be going straight in there. Great conversion on that from Project Tides, able to get the kill, and then with the power play, investing the core flip. Similarly earlier from the other side, just making sure that the power play is effective, using whatever it takes to get it done as soon as possible before the advantage wanes.
Yeah, just very nice on their part. Although that was a little bit greedy. Flip right after the leap, tried to go for like an early in, and that didn't work out, and now they have a power play to contend with as Zieko gets dropped.
Yeah, but back on the field now. Pass splitter as well, getting a little bit done. The piercing shot, the pendulum swing, both invested, but not getting anything done, unfortunately, for the Platinum Horde. Gale Blast also comes out. Ash Projection goes wide. The Rose Warp, though, is there to help Cosmic Expanse as well. Death Touch, great intercept, but it is caught by Volcano there. Jumping forward with all that dash range. I mean, you have the 3, effectively, dash away things, or 2.5 with the eject button. Chicken Tendies also has that Corv available, though, so Giga Blast almost confirms it on the own barrier there, unfortunately, but was a really difficult save anyways. Rose Warp comes up to the top. Whiplash is not enough to get it through. Goes up to the top, though, and Volcano just had nothing left. They got 1 point, but Platinum Horde shooting back.
Yes, very, very, very nice attempts at defense on Emerald Volcano's part. I mean, honestly, I feel like they did almost everything right. They just had nothing left in the tank, and at that point, it's just kind of like a bit of a sad story there. So they did get it to the Platinum Horde, but one of theirs gets lost. Iron Skull smashing them against the boards. And Chicken Tendy's not looking too healthy either. So very good on Project Tide's part to kind of like slow the momentum down.
But it is the Platinum Horde. You strike them down, and there will always be another to take their place. And also take some barriers as well on top of a great core flip from Supreme there, just to make sure that that barrier stays alive. That is such a great lifeline that Unzero plays so far forward. The Astral Projection Piercing Shot combo as well takes Kai off the field. And he'll be back in 10 seconds, but let's see if they can get anything done in that time. Oh, great shot by Chicken Tendies. You're expecting the pass, and so you're running up to try and block that off, but cutting the angle narrowly, Asher was just a little too far away to get to it, and Juno was not expecting it, so didn't invest the flip till it was too late. And now, Estelle with that first pick is so many good options here. Option to deny the 1-2 punch from the Juno might be the best among them, but heavy impact prime time, also really good ones.
Yeah, another case where it's like there's so many good ones you can almost. There is very little that is a straight up bad choice as first pick there. Though does get monumentalist after like a lot of these good ones, but I'm seeing mostly more investiture into damage for I would say like the Platinum Horde. I'm kind of surprised that Asher took 1-2 punch, but sure, see how that plays out.
The Atlas,
Asher, Atlas, yeah.
I think it's a deny from the Asher. Because 1-2 punch on Asher is actually low-key stronger than even on Juliet, just because the barrier beam does a lot of damage even. So it is very strong on that Asher if she gets it, and the ability to strike into Astral Projection and get all that speed is actually not to be underestimated either. But also, Hop the Frog, not to be underestimated. The 1v2 there, just the perfect layering of abilities. Didn't even need to use the Whiplash, had that as insurance just in case they managed to get the clear, but really nicely done.
Yep, nope, just managed to split the difference and get that point fairly quickly. So props to the Platinum Horde for kind of pouring it on and not stopping. Like they're up 2 sets clean, and they are just trying to, and they are continually pushing. They're not trying to do anything super fancy. It feels like they're just getting good passing plays, making good intercepts, just playing very solidly.
Solidly there as well. The Crystal Thorns too secure against the slime. There's every temptation in the world there to say, it'll go in, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But better safe than sorry almost every single time. Crystal Thorns is invested, but it's going to be back eventually, especially with the hot shot cooldown reduction there. So investment of the core flip early as well to get 1 barrier, almost 2 if it went through Chicken Tendies, but not going to go through that easily, and that is 1 core flip down. A lot of health as well, and Iron Skull is missing, but it doesn't seem like Platinum Horde is too interested in that KO, even though the ad rush was picked up on this Rasmus. A lot of passing play in the middle here. They're trying to win the Strike Wars. Both teams investing so much, but unfortunately Emerald Volcano jumps way too far. A little bit too much dash range, a little bit lost in the sauce on it. Jugo Supreme not hitting the angle in the corner, but does still get it to the Estelle. The Barrage, actually a really nice counter to the Crystal Thorns, forcing out another core flip here and getting a barrier on the backside of the play. Iron Skull, though, not quite able to get it through the Atlas. Emerald Volcano rushing backwards, a piercing shot, not quite getting the connection, just a pixel off. Death Touch hits the Asher instead of the core, and Atlas dribbling up into the top here. The Gale Blast goes a little bit wide there. Cosmic Expanse is really nice, but unfortunately for the side of the Platinum Horde, Project Tides gets a point there. A lot invested to get it. Took them a lot of abilities, but in the end they do it. They're 1 point away from being knocked out, but that also means that they're not out yet. They have the opportunity to come back, and this could be it.
Yeah, they are going to have to kind of step it up, though. However, Iron Skull trying to get something started, but res on Atlas was right there. Just very good on their part. Very, very clean score there. Just Hop the Frog knew exactly what they were doing, and it's a 1v1 against Rasmus. Very few people can win those.
Yeah, it was really nicely executed there. Hitting it into the slime, knowing that the slime will stop it exactly where you want it to be, and knowing that usually Junos tend to trust their slimes, just mind games on top of the regular game. So just really nicely done there by Hop the Frog, and by the entirety of the Platinum Horde, taking another step towards qualifying. But of course, an adjustment from previous seasons, only 2 teams get to qualify, no third place tiebreaker. And no losers bracket as well. So unfortunately for this week, Project Tides is out, but they did have a lot of moments there. You could see that they had, the Juno goalie pick is not as conventional, but it was quite powerful there. So every person in this game really did play quite well at times. And we were saying it earlier, but consistency is so big in OSAS. So seeing them polish those edges off, being able to get that team play really locked down, looking forward to see them in the future. But unfortunately for them, not this week.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Any kind of competition, there will be winners, there will be losers, but that doesn't mean you can't come back again stronger. So, yep, just take this as a learning lesson and figure out what you need to improve on and keep grinding.
Mm-hmm. Keep grinding, keep coming back. There's still 3 more weeks of OSAS, and honestly,
Mhm.
winning in the first week might just be a false sense of confidence. So practice even if you win, practice if you don't. We look forward to seeing you in the future. But for now, that'll be it from P Flair and I. We're gonna get some new casters in here for the final parts of the bracket. We're gonna see those qualifying games, but there's one more game before that. But even before that, there's gonna be a bit of a break. So see y'all around.
Peace out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Omega Strikers Amateur Series. I'm here with Big Tilt and we're here for the match right before the qualifier matches. It's Shrimpin' Shrimpers versus the Platinum Horde, and I think the Shrimpin' Shrimpers are quite familiar to you, right?
Yeah, I recognize two of those names, if I'm not mistaken, Steam Whistle and Breakson. I think I've just seen them talk around in Bestie and Slot. I think I've played against Breakson once in like solo queue, but I assume that they will do great things with the team they have compiled together.
Yep. We're heading on to Clarion. Okay, well they forgot. They forgot to change the map to Clarion. All good. We can talk about the draft though, which is on your screen right now. And of course, I think with a little bit of awareness from the Platinum Horde, I think they have taken away the Luna of Steam Whistle. And that's probably a pretty good decision because if someone plays something notably in OSAS, that's probably what you're going to ban.
Yeah. Just banning out those one tricks are really that tactic is really prevalent and mostly every single level of play, OSAS, ISS, Nasty, NASA, and to some certain extent NASA. Like taking those players off their comfort picks, it really challenges them to like broaden their perspective. Like, okay, I have this one pick I'm really good at, and I really need to expand my horizon. And let's see if they can accomplish that.
Taking a look at the drafts, on Platinum Horde side, it's Dubu, Aimi, Rasmus versus Mako, Vice, and Kazan. We're on Clarion. What do you think? Which team do you think has the better draft, especially in the context of OSAS?
Because, so why I see it, melee goalies are like really prevalent in OSAS. They really don't pick eject button outside like some certain players, but like the Dubu and the Mako are like really solid. I'm looking more at the side of the Platinum Horde because they have Dubu, Aimi, Rasmus. That's a tried and true comp, really solid. And the Vice and the Kazan don't really see much play together, but we'll see how that unfolds starting on this map for CTC.
Yeah, the damage output gonna be a question here. We'll see if the Vice can make up for the entire team's damage output and really get it done here. But my eyes on the bounce house, you know those angles, that's always a possibility with a little bit of hit stun.
Many games I've commentated in this past 2 weeks have led to many deaths on the bouncy house, because if you bounce, if you get knocked in there's a bug where if you get knocked in the corners and all of that, you can sometimes just die. It's very disturbing sometimes, these kills you can find on this map.
Yep. Well, we're seeing a lot of possession here from the Platinum Horde, but their net is open and Breakson's going in. The bouncer is a little bit backwards, unfortunately. The Tofu Fortress sent out as well. But right now it's another passing play to the top side, getting ruled to the bottom, making it difficult, almost being taken out, but the Firewall Sentry helps a lot with the defense here. And now it just breaks into the top side. Doesn't quite get the shot, but makes up for it with the flip for the first goal of the game.
Yeah, really good slot in on the top side from Breakson as they secure the first point. Looking at these awakenings here, triple recovery drone on the side of the Platinum Horde. And on the other side, we have Spectrating Vice on Siphoning Wand. That's a lot of damage that's going to ramp up. And damage is a very good play style in this type of setting, because most OSAS players don't really know how to evade damage, and they can really snowball quickly with like these Supernovas, these Vice Primaries, all this damage.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit harder to play against damage than it is to play damage itself, and Kitten Ruler seems very familiar with the damage dealing playstyle. Breakson strikes it through the sheer core speed, overwhelming Jiggle Supreme as it's 2-0 now.
There's a lot of win conditions here for both teams, the Kazan and the Rasmus. Size scaling, and for Kitten Ruler and Chicken Tendy, it's just putting on that damage. And of course, you have the melee goalies doing all their work, holding it down. But the Vice is the stellar pick, I would say, because the Vice will scale out of control, even if they have Siphoning Wand, no speed from their gear. They will just stack on damage on top of damage, and eventually just snowball the game out of control.
Yeah, usually you would expect the device to lead to a total core control deficit here, but the way that Steam Whistle is playing the Mako as well, right? That speed boost makes up for just a little bit, but Hop the Frog, a hook into a strike ward, that net opened up, and here's a bit of an opportunity for the side of the Platinum Horde. They seem to find these rebounds, they need to find a way to survive. They have a recovery drone at the very least, and it hasn't been taken off the two forwards just yet, but there we go. A shot there, and Steam Whistle now in the corner, but no follow-up with Erasmus still respawning. It's looking like a pretty stable game for the Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Up the flag looking pretty low. No recov drone. No nothing. Mako gets the secondary out. Jiggle Supreme dribbling up, and Erasmus is taken out. And Ami just slots it on the top side. The first point goes to the blue side.
Yeah, the Platinum Horde getting a point there is huge. Chicken Tendies with a good dribble to the top side. Steam Whistle didn't quite contest it in time, right? If it's it's hard too. With a melee goalie, without that speed, without that immediate range, you have to be the one walking up to contest it with a strike. And of course, Chicken Tendies got there first, got it past. And right now, that point might have reinvigorated the offense here. But on this variant, you got to watch out for your stagger bar dropping. Breaks in, capitalizing on the clear by Jiggle Supreme. Both barriers down, and the ensnared drums for the KO. It's a huge power play here for the Shrimp and Shrimpers. They push forward on a premature flip. It's still fine though. They have possession. They have it passed, but a good roll by Jiggle Supreme will keep it contained. Now a flip to the bottom side. Chicken Tendies with the defense, but the possession's still there. For Kitten Roller to breaks in a strike or win by Jiggle Supreme. Gets it away for now, and the Supernova tried to get some value, but good elusives by the Platinum Horde, and a good primary as well. And now it's Steam Whistle who's the one in trouble, but breaks into the other side right past the roll. Jiggle Supreme pulling the trigger, but breaks in with the fake out, and that's a set win here for the Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Coming into this draft, Shrimp and Shrimpers. Breakson is the MVP here. Coming into this draft. Oh, heavy impact for the Vice, but she is in the 5th slot. I don't think she's going to get that, sire.
Yeah, but there are plenty of other good awakenings too, right? Stinger, extra special. So well, okay, they're probably going to take extra special and heavy impact here on the Dubu and the Aimi. Big Tilt, there's no way that's the right choice, right?
I don't think so. Stinger on the Dubu doesn't really do anything. Extra special would have helped a lot for Jiggle Supreme to get that defense up. Defense and offense with that extra special, but the Vice somehow gets extra special specialized training as her 2 awakenings.
Yeah, and if there's one thing I'd like the goalies to take note of a little bit, it's that Team Player 1 unpicked. It is one of the best goalie awakenings in the game. It is game warping, especially on melee goalies. I definitely like to see more priority on that in the future instead of it going unpicked here. Definitely could have gone in either goalie's toolkit for this one. But for now, we're going to see them trying to weather the storm, and by storm, we mean that extra specialized training Vice.
Up the fog, walking up on the midline. The arrow orb is really low. Oh, Kin really gets it. They have the core flip ready to go, but they're keeping ball possession really solid here. Steam Whistle with the flip coming up. Hop the flag, trying to play this 1v1. Trying to weigh up the strike timings. Oh, unfortunate strike whiff from Jiggle Supreme. Playing rock solid, but oh, good Mako cage to hold off the offense on Hop the Frog. Breakson gets the good slot up, top spin, double combo for the first point for Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Yeah, the shot placement has been pretty good from Breakson. I am pleasantly impressed by how they're using the strikes here, because hitting around the goalie is something that commentators get frustrated with in a lot of levels of play, ranging from OSAS to ISS to Nasty even. But this is OSAS, and Breakson is getting these angles.
Caden Ruler. Oh, double flips for the side of Shrimp Trippers. Looking to collapse on these barriers. Chicken Tendies evades the Vice primary. They were aware of that Vice kill combo. But we have Breakson with the flip, trying to win this one around the Dubu. Oh, somehow they actually get it through with 2 abilities up. And the hit stun does. Oh my gosh. Jiggle Supreme gets killed from the Supernova. Mako Cage saves the ball for now. Direct shot comes out. Corner offense coming out. Good pass from Chicken Tendies, but on the other side, Jiggle Supreme's dead. Oh, good hook. The hook from Hop the Frog reads the mind of Steam Whistle and secures the even points for the Platinum Horde. Oh my gosh.
What a point to secure as well while your goalie was 2v1'd and KO'd. That was a critical goal for Hop the Frog. And if the Platinum Horde end up coming back to win this game, that is like the critical turning point. But it's still a struggle, right? The consistent damage is still there from Kitten Ruler. And they gotta watch out here. Maybe they need to put some damage on their own onto Breakson, who is looking low, but it's Hop the Frog with the core control, with the barrier take, and a rebound as well. Steam Whistle with the save, though. Good strikes to save the second barrier.
I do want to touch upon the gears for the Platinum Horde. They're both running slick kicks. And this, for OSAS really loves slick kicks, if I'm not mistaken, Saya. Because they just like the speed on the strikes, and they prefer that gear over like the traditional like mag souls, double mag souls, or whatever. And going off of that, the Vice is really excels at damaging. And if you don't have mag souls, you can't really evade, like you can't use your movement to evade all of that damage. And that plays in the win condition of snowballing and getting these power plays to secure these goals.
Yeah, but Hop the Frog gets a rebound, gets the dribble, gets the third dribble, and the glitch pop as well to help out as Hop the Frog just 3v1s. The clear is just not there from Shrimp and Shrimpers. Their damage and their offense is impressive, but on the defense, that's 2 points in a row where it's a little bit unfortunate.
They really played this offense and damage correctly, but on the side of Steam Whistle, they really need Steam Whistle to win these 1v1 interactions. So that's the goal of Hop the Frog. You can see very clearly that the win condition for the Platinum Horde is to get the ball to Hop the Frog.
Yeah, and I think that the Platinum Horde have identified that. Hop the Frog low, Chicken Tendies as well. If the Rasmus is taken low, it's less ability to solo offense. But wait a second, they leave Hop the Frog alone for just a second, and the barrier drops. A Tofu Fortress in the midfield keeps the core up as well. And now it's a dangerous spot to be in. So much damage on the Chicken Tendies. Jiggle Supreme comboed off, and not evading the Thunderstruck will lead to death here as Chicken Tendies and Hop the Frog, they're barely surviving, barely making the saves. All it takes is one more ability to take both them off, but you gotta be careful on the defense. We've been in this situation before.
Really looking low. The slick kicks doesn't really help out with the damage department. What? Oh my gosh, good slot in on the bottom from Chicken Tendies. Able to get that set win for the Platinum Horde. Oh my gosh.
It was a set of defense too, right? The Platinum Horde resilient, even while KO'd, even while staggered, and they make those openings and punish the defensive slip-ups from Shrimp and Shrimpers. And now heading to the draft, what do you have your eyes on?
Ad Rush, Big Fish. Ooh, really interesting pick from Explosive Entrance by Hop the Frog. I would expect them to take size, but they just take the Explosive Entrance instead.
Yeah, I think that Big Fish definitely would have helped in the 1v whatever plays, but denying away Dash Awakening maybe, but there was aerials as well available. So the Explosive Entrance pick, yeah, like you said, is a little bit confusing. Definitely an interesting draft. The draft definitely something that can be worked on, especially with the Monumentalist pickup, which is a downgrade on Goalie Dubu compared to no Awakening at all. But we'll see. It's still the first week, and if their gameplay can make up for their drafting, that's even better.
Oh, unfortunate barrier loss from Jiggle Supreme. Glitch Pop trying to get the ball out. Breakson and Hop the Frog both low. On the midline, the core is. Strike timings are infinitely whiffing. Steam Whistle passing the Kitten Ruler. Vice Secondary comes out trying to reposition. Supernova comes out on the ball. Dubula gets the ball out of the box, but somehow the ball slips through. Hop the Frog again has that, trying to utilize this explosive entrance speed. Hook goes wide, but the hook actually stays it. Forced to flip, Steam Whistle is. Breaks it, almost catches the ball, but kills Jiggle Supreme. Hop the Frog has the rest of the fight. Good attempt on the strike placement. I like the idea from that. They're trying not to, like you said, Sire. Most OSAS players don't know how to strike the ball, but Hop the Frog is really utilizing that. And it also gets the barrier. Chicken Tendies, King Ruler both have flip, but was that the hook that griefed?
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate. Hop the Frog tried to help out, ended up messing up Jiggle Supreme's strike instead by sending the core way too fast to Kitten Ruler, and the strike cooldown was still there for Jiggle Supreme. The coordination is unfortunate, but right now the bigger concern is the damage, as 2 flips are available for Breakson and Kitten Ruler. They're sending it forward, trying to find both barriers here. A premature flip and Hop the Frog. Once again, just as you mentioned it, more good strike placement from both the brawlers in this game.
Unfortunately, Chicken Tendies is taken out. Jiggle Supreme gets the ball to Hop the Frog in the whiplash. I would say mix-up. He didn't even strike the ball. He just got the ball into his half and just used the whiplash to slide in on the bottom side.
Yeah, that was a mix-up. I thought Hop the Frog was going to send to top side with that kind of play. But no, it was perfectly placed into the bottom empty part of the goal. But with another KO coming out, the Platinum Horde's got to be careful of this damage coming in. And right now, they're in a lot of trouble on the top side. Good Ensnare Drums from Steam Whistle, snipes the core, but even better defense for the moment. The Platinum Horde get out of the corner with only 1 barrier down.
Impressive layering for the defense, but as the ball goes on the side of the Shrimp and Troopers, they're trying to use this Mako speed with the Dash Awakening, and they get it the full extent. The barriers are both taken, but the unfortunate own barrier from Steam Whistle. It's the open barriers for both teams. Hop the Frog has the whiplash, has the speed, has everything, but unfortunate whiffs on the strike, playing a bit too fast, and somehow is not punished because Breakson misses their strike placement. Unfortunate miss out from them. Roll comes out. Oh, Jiggle Supreme again! It's the CCL line. They keep dying in their own half. Chicken Tendies has the ball, has the turret. Breakson passing with Chicken. Oh my god, Chicken, not Chicken. Kitten Ruler, my bad. He almost lets the ball slip in. Kitten Ruler has the flip right now. Is that the hook sire?
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate there as well, but Jiggle Supreme's keeping up the defense. Imagine if both teams had team player here. It would be such a chill win, but unfortunately, it's up to Breakson, and fortunately, Breakson gets those to the top corner. Once again, both brawlers displaying their ability to strike very well, as it's a lead for the Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Into this 4th point, Rice Chain Lightning sends the ball backwards somehow, as they walk approach with the ball with the Cyphering Rod, with the Supernova, good layering of abilities from the 4 duo. The Shrimp Trippers with Ivy Turret has the ball, gets the ball out on this corner offense right here. Gets the second barrier. Kitten Ruler gets taken out, but just Jiggle Supreme just doesn't strike the ball, unfortunately, and that'll lead to the 3rd set going to Shrimp and Troopers.
Well, let's be clear though, can't blame Jiggle Supreme too much. It was a bit of a checkmate situation. Breakson was in their face, had the flip up. So the Kazan could have scored at any time, really. Could have reacted to anything. And that's a big one for the Shrimp and Shrimpers to take the lead. What awakenings do you have your eyes on?
I'm looking at the prize fighter on the Vice, as well as the prime time for Kazan. That actually might make a whole lot of difference for these 1v1 scenarios as they actually get it. And I think this is just an easy sweep for Shrimp and Troopers in terms of draft.
Yeah, maybe the stacks will get enough value if the Dubu can survive for long enough. We'll have a lot of coverage of the goal, right? This massive Dubu with stacks stacked up should be able to cover a lot of those angles around. But the damage has been so consistent from the Shrimp and Shrimpers, and the scoring play from Breakson has been fantastic as well. And so far, they're looking poised to take this one.
I do want to point out as well, Steam Whistle has Twin Drive, Aerials, and Spark of Focus, so they're really playing into that support role as Mako usually is, but unfortunately they lose both their barriers to Hop the Frog.
Yeah, it's a Hop the Frog masterclass in strike placement here. Jiggle Supreme in a dangerous spot, doesn't quite get the corner, and it bounces right back into the waiting arms of Breakson. 2 goals now for the Shrimp and Shrimpers. They're almost there.
2 points away for Shrimp and Shrimpers, Breakson and Kitten Ruler. Basically, all 3 members on the side of Shrimp and Shrimpers have flipped. They're going to use that to regain momentum. Hop the Frog gets the good primary. We have the Vice. The Vice has the arrow orb. Flip comes out once. Good rollout. Somehow, and sadly, does not get. Oh my gosh! The aerial's cage.
Oh my! It was just a normal point until Steam Whistle got the snipe cross map in the bottom of the net. The Ensnare Drums perfect, and now It's just one goal. A Shrimp and Shrimpers one step away from the qualifying match.
The Platinum Horde really needs to find something. Really needs to get the ball to Hop the Frog because he is the star player. They are the star player because they're trying to make this 1v1s. That's the strike placement. Gets the first barrier. Jiggle Supreme holding out the ball. Gets the ball to the Hop the Frog. 1v1 scenario right here. Passing the Imiter. Really good passing plays coming out. Unfortunate, the flip goes wide. And just it goes back to a neutral state here on this second point. Third point, technically. Not bad.
Neutral, but not enough. Oh, the log breaks awkwardly there, and now breaks in. A big opportunity, pushing forward in the open net. Chicken Tendies with the passing play to Hop the Frog. They send it around. They play it perfectly, but the Vice Primary is a little strong. And now it's a recovery drone gone. Hop the Frog vulnerable. Trying to find a dribble, trying to find the solo score, but it's to Breakson to the bottom corner. The roll stops it for the moment. The log is good. The strike shot is scary. Breakson in the corner, trying to find it here. Not quite so far as Kitten Ruler with the scary bounces. Has a flip available, and Chicken Tendies tries to do too much on the defense. Shrimp and Shrimpers capitalize and take this game.
I do really like both the brawlers here. Unfortunately, Platinum Horde did not secure the win, but I was really impressed with all these players. They really they went above my expectations. Both the brawlers had really good strike placements. Both the goalies had signs of glory with those defenses, and especially Kitten Ruler. They had that Vice on lock. They got unlocked. They had the siphoning one. They had all the damage awakenings. 35k for Kitten Ruler. That really just sealed the deal.
Yeah, that damage from Kitten Ruler, so reliable. And having that Vice Luna dual threat on Kitten Ruler and Steam Whistle is huge for the whole like pick ban strategy of the Shrimp and Shrimpers team. We'll see them again in a bit, but now it's time for the qualifier matches. So we'll be right back with another best of one. Hello everyone, we're here with 2.5 players versus Jakar Space Train, and you arrived at a perfect time because they started the game when we weren't ready, but we were actually ready because you came back.
Yeah. My bad on that. I had to do something real quick, but that is in the past. We have a game coming up right now. It is Monumentalist Big Fish start. Slicks all around the board except for Izan Membrane. I'm just gonna say that. with pumps.
Insane membrane, insane.
Insane Membrane. Okay, thanks, Sire.
You know, the best usernames in Omega Strikers are no sass. That, especially the one where the OSAS player became a NASA player and then had to change their username. Anyway, Platine in the corner finds the X Maximus, and that's the first goal.
Yeah, X Maximus secures that goal in there. Strike reset is really strong if you don't know how to play against it, because what are you going to do when an X is in your face? He has that Bell Ringer, he has that Bull Rush, he has the X Maximus for all those scary opportunities to make.
Yep. On the other side, not in the brawler, but the goalie, Odnar, with the rune goalie, not something you see every day. But it's been working so far, right? They're in the qualifier match, and we'll see how well this can be piloted. I like how they're positioning with the strikes. Don't quite like that pillar, but these strikes from Odnar are very on point.
Odnar as the Mom Boots. Rune is a really tricky matchup as a brawler, because you have to play in a certain way. You have to play around Bash, you have to play around the pillars, and you have to play at a certain pace. But that doesn't matter if you just kill the Rune goalie and the X forward.
Yep, the KOs come through the pass splitter. Good wait by Insane Membrane to pretty much secure that one, right? Just waiting for Shikakute to do something and then reacting.
Yeah, good patience from them. 1-1 to settle the score. Instant black hole pop from Comfy Yuki. Insane Membrane trying to push up. Almost gets killed by the X Maximus Bull Rush combo, but the Mako Cage saves them. Oh, Juno down! But unfortunately, the whiff flip from Comfy Yuki kind of stalls the play. Banish comes out from Obnar. We have the Asher primary. JP Mac looking really dangerous. Looking to push up here, but the IME turret with the Monumentalist size. Unfortunately, Insane Member gets taken out. We have the Enhanced Ice. Good flip from JP Mac 11 trying to stall the ball out for Insane Member to come back. Almost like, oh, Mako second creeps out. The Mako Cage stalls the ball out. We have that point. And it's looking really dangerous for Obnar here.
Yeah, Odnar needs to worry in the open net. Insane Membrane capitalizes just like that. A good pass from Comfy Yuki, and JP Mac, of course, holding it down on that single barrier. He really just gets it done. And that is a situation where Platine, it's just hard, I think. But has a flip now, and I think that there's a huge opportunity for Jakar Space Train's offense.
Platine has that flip like he's trying to damage Comfy Yuki here. Obnar as well has the flip, has those rune pillars, trying to play outside the range of Insane Membrane. Has to use the flip there, good defense. But the TP out, unfortunately, but the reversal from Hatin makes the bleed damage not so bad. Juno sets up Watini for the Strike War win for the evening the set 2-2.
Yeah, that was huge offense from Platine and Chikukut. Exactly when it was necessary. The point almost getting out of control, but they really got it done there. And the question is, can they get it done here as well with the center popped? Chikukut and Platine advancing once again, and if they could use this flip, I think they'll have a lot to play with.
Chikukut has the flip here, playing this corner offense. The Mako primary stalls the ball, but they lose the barrier. Bench comes out from Obnar. Oh, scary placement from that strike, but ice cold on the defense there. Raw X Maximus comes out from Hutty for some reason. They also just blown themselves up. They're losing their mind right now, Sire.
A little unfortunate there, but if they can get the KO, then all is forgiven, and this rune is actually getting some big damage output here with the Monumentalist. Can't be ignored. Finally KO'd, but it's still an open net. Comfy Yuki, maybe a solo play here. Dribbles, finds the cyber swipe, but not the strike afterwards. And with the center blown up, this is a scary situation as the passing plays come through, but good glitch pops. And the defense is there from Comfy Yuki. These pillars, though, in overtime, so scary. The slime, so scary. And JP Mac, unfortunately, doesn't get the strike in time. And that's going to be a set win for Chikara Space Train. An important one because it was really close.
Yeah, Shiki has the MVP right now. Ooh, 1-2 punch Juno. That has to be a proud pick for Juno. Especially in this early league, core speed is a killer.
Yep. And also maybe a little bit of damage potential as well, right? They've been getting staggered KOs on Insane Membrane. And with Fighter Flight on the X, this X is going to be chasing down that Asher or any damage target. And of course, a lot better scoring potential as well.
X doesn't really have any kill confirm. Like, he struggles to like kill confirm, especially if they have like speed, like Maxwell's. But there's no Maxwell's here, so and then they have Fighter Flight. They can just clean up kills really easily, and because the Juno has the 1-2 punch, Rune is just banishing people and putting the Mani pillars. So X really has an easy way to secure these kills.
We're seeing the win condition right here. The pressure put on means that Insane Membrane can't really get involved in the offense. Tries to get the KO here. Need to use the evade button. Shikakute. Oh no. Well, that's a big power play now for 2.5 players if they can get a passing play to the top side. The pillar's good. Enough for a KO, but not for the save.
Flip has to come out from Obna here. Clears out. Juno jump comes. Trying to get the ball. Trying to stop these corner offense here, but the core speed 1-2 gets the secondary timing off from JP Mac 11 and secures that goal.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. JP Mac released it a little bit too early. The slime auto delay made that difficult. Unfortunately didn't react in time, and that's a big goal. Chikara Space Train, they're playing to their win condition so well, and if they can get a KO on Insane Membrane here, that would be huge. But with both barriers down, they got to be a little bit more careful.
Ringo comes out. Ringo comes out. Marco Prame gets the ball out of the way of the X. X-Max comes out. Ooh, Hwati just didn't strike there, surprisingly, and that ball just gets the Insane Membrane and slots it between Obna and the Rune Pillar for that goal.
Yeah, they got the timing in between that. And taking a look at how this game is played so far, Big Tilt, what do you think is 2.5 players' win condition?
Mostly just trying to keep the ball on their half and try to help Insane Membrane with the Rune. Trying to, because if you get that, we have Manu extra special Asher, and that just, well, if you just put a bunch of hitboxes on the Rune, they can't really do anything. And especially with IME turret, you just play for those two, and you just stuff the Rune out.
Oh, that pillar was good, but the evade let Insane Membrane survive until Watin cleaned up the KO. And now they're trying not to lose the slimes here. Oddnar trying to send it forward. Good defense by Comfy Yuki. Still very, very low. Almost staggered. And with the Rune and the X and the Juno, all of them have shown that they're capable of putting on the damage and also the threat of KO here. But as the regen comes in, they got to be a little bit more careful. That's a good snipe into the middle to keep the damage potential up. And Oddnar with the 1v1 KO here as the passing plays begin once again. The good clear out, though, from 2.5 players means they survive. Okay, my bad.
Oh! Like Juno core speed once again. It's really coming into play every single point. It's just Juno core speed, and especially in overtime, because these points are lasting really long, because Obna is just holding it down. They're just locking down Insane Membrane with those pillars. Rune goalie is a matchup you don't really play a lot, so I wouldn't expect any of these players to really know it.
Yep, but the offensive matchup is something that Watin's very familiar with, it seems like. Keeping it forward. Oh, okay, Oddnar, but what a snipe to the bottom corner. No corner bounce at all, right? Just a pillar right out of the reach of the Mako. Deserved MVP for this set, and we're headed to potential final one. What Awakenings do you think will secure the win here for Chikara Space Train?
I think it's like team player or replicator, just these. Ooh, they're leaning the damage with Deadeye, and that leaves Mako with the dash string, and that'll help the offense of 2.5 players to really secure it. But what else do you think, Sai? Do you think team player's gonna pick again? I don't think so. They're not gonna pick it.
They're gonna pick it here.
Oh!
Yeah. Well, it's single spark of
Saved.
leadership, right? And orb replicator. Comfy Yuki is gonna be able to use that team player decently well. We'll see if it does end up making a difference in maybe the overtimes, right, with the core speed. But we'll still have to see, because right now, this is just Shakar Space Train's game. They are playing their game in an OSAS. The team that is allowed to play their game is probably the one winning.
Okay. Like I said in previous times, damage is really it's like the low level killer. Like if you don't know how to play against damage, you can just get snowballed really quickly.
Oh!
And just the pressure. Oh,
Yeah, JP Mac almost got the save there, but just the wrong side of the Mako primary. And like you were saying, right? It's a lot easier to become good enough at damage than it is to become good enough at not getting damage dumped. And we're seeing a lot of that here with a lot of incidental damage, not like super big kill confirms, but just the chip damage adding up. And 2.5 players just not... my bad, 2.5 players getting the Fireball Sentry, and Chikara Space Train just couldn't deal with the train.
I mean, I have trouble strike boarding, like timing my strike against Avatar. I don't blame him. That's a hard thing. Konfiki has all the cooldowns trying to play in this mid line. I haven't seen them really use any of the team player, but they're gonna use it. I believe in them.
Oh!
But the Atlas black hole, the pull of the black hole allows them to get the goal. Yes, that allows them to set up insane membrane. They slot in and get that goal.
Yeah, Oddnar kind of misgauged where the core was there, I think. Insane just didn't strike it, was patient, and Oddnar blocked down thinking that Insane wasn't striking it because they couldn't. But the secret is, walking with the core is OP, and Insane knows that well, gets it done. And we'll see if Insane can avoid damage and find a lot of those good scoring plays.
Abnar trying to save the barrier. Banish comes out, does not hit anyone. 2 flips on the side, which you call a space train. They're going to use it to secure these barriers, but Comfy Yuki is forced to use it. Good pillar from Insane Membrane to get the stall out. Plot team has the ball, passing plays with this core flip, trying to use all these pressure tools, but Insane Membrane is locked down by the rune pillar again. Oh my gosh, it's going to score. They're going to score. I believe in them. Core speed, slot in, but good clear. But Abnar, he has to use the flip. Sluts it up with Shikute. But they're trying to play this 1v1. They should pass, sire. I think they would have scored easily if they just passed.
Yeah, they were overforcing the corner, but since they built up the damage and got the KO with the banish, all is forgiven, for now at least. Shikukute rushing forward, a good primary by JP Mac, a good secondary by JP Mac, but in the midst of it, it's a KO onto the midfielder, and on the 5th try, Shikara Space Train keep up the possession and keep up the pressure. It's another point win for them, and they're 1 goal away from taking the set.
1 goal away is correct. And remember, try to salvage anything they can do. Both specials have to be burned here in order to make something happen. And unfortunately, the glitch pop goes wide and just sends the ball in an unfortunate scenario. We have the backward second they instantly use trying to stall. Insane Membrane is instantly staggered, and the palms hasn't really come to effect at this point, sire.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate they could not make use of that awakening here. It's the opposite end. That's the main threat. Ognarb, though, with a barely missed strike. Shikukute, though, with so much possession, almost at a Platine. But the possession, right? The rebounds, they're always there from Chikara Space Train. And a lot of that is just how comfortable they are playing up. And Ognarb, coverage on the open net. Ognarb gets the Strike War win as well, and they keep it away for now. The strike shot's good, but time is ticking.
Oh, flip comes out from JP Mac, saving the ball, and Sam Membrane was looking for that dash puncher. But good passing plays, but the strike was not there for Comfy Yuki, and Chikara Space Train will secure a 3-0 sweep in set count.
Yeah, they cleaned it up. They found the pass, like you mentioned earlier, right? Just pass, and they got it done into the top of the net. It's a big win for Chikara Space Train as they qualify for the finale.
Shout out for them. They played. I was really impressed with all 3 players. The core speed from Shikute, Abnar really exploiting the matchup knowledge that Inside Memory did not have in Huatin just doing X things, punching, bell ringing, and it's putting a lot of pressure on for that goalie.
Yep, it was very, very well played by them to play to their win condition. And we'll see if the next set of teams can do so as well, as there's only one more match left in this week of OSAS. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello everyone, we're back and we're here for the final qualifier match of the day. How are you doing, Big Tilt?
Doing pretty well. I've been really liking these matches, and this match coming up, Shrimp and Troopers versus God's Strongest Soldiers, will definitely not disappoint.
Yep. Well, we'll have to see. Once they load the game, the draft has already been done. So we'll see that in just a second. Just waiting on the teams to click the whole start game button. And yeah, well, of course we're not gonna see a return of the Vice. Breaks in Kitten Ruler and Steam Whistle have already shown in their previous stream game why the Vice it should not be let through. They play their game quite decently, I gotta say.
Damage is a very, very good win condition in OSAS, and the Vice really just enables that. But coming in on the Atlas Lab, let me just looking at it. Kai, Mako, Juliet, if I'm not mistaken, for the side of God's Strongest Soldiers, and we'll have to see Erasmus comes out. For Breakson, I would assume. I don't think.
Okay, well,
else would come
here's the kicker. It's Kazan and Rasmus. Which one of them's gonna be in the goal box?
Yeah, definitely Erasmus. There's no Breakson played Kazan before, and it should be Kazan again unless something really weird happens. Okay, I was correct.
Steam
I was
Whistle-
wrong, but I was correct.
Steam Whistle, though, an enjoyer of the Rasmus. That pick does definitely exist. It is legitimate, but how do you think it's gonna do here?
Rasmus, they play for the interact. They just don't want the brawler to interact. Like, you just primary it every single time that approaches the brawler, and they just cry. You can't really do anything about it.
Yep, that is definitely the goal here. We'll see if that can be achieved. Steam Whistle, though, can't quite get it done up close. Breaks it on the other side against Kadyusha Kurtz, but Kadyusha Kurtz looking solid on the defense here. No hesitation on those abilities after the strikes.
Good kill from Connor Crystal onto Breakson. Ball on the side of God's Strongest Shoulders. Giga Blast just trying to push the ball up. Can't roll it. Has that timeless creator. What do you think about that side? They didn't take fight or flight.
But it is timeless IME, right? If they can set up in the corner, that is deadly. But Kama Crystal's getting it done, finding these dash punches, and that's the kind of individual instinct that's important in these outplays.
Julia's very strong in all levels of play. Dash punch is really good for settling the score, for hit stun, for kills. It's easy bake. You could do everything with it.
Yep, and right there, trying to get the fight or flight reset dash kill. Kadyusha has to help out, but they do secure it in the end, and it looks like God's Strongest Soldiers are looking quite strong right now. Kama Crystal taking a lot of unforced damage, though. Thankfully, there's an orb coming up, but Umbi as well. You got to be a little bit more careful here. But the other team could do some KO as well.
Trying to play solid on the defense because here Kurtz is. Steam Whistle pushing him for the whiplash. Oh, good strikes from Steam Whistle. Does not lose their mind against the Flame Flurry. Umbi has the Kai speed, has a lot of resources, gets the ball to Kama Crystal, dribbling plays appearing. But again, the Rasmus Friday is just it's a brick wall shutting down most of the things that Kama Crystal can do.
Yeah, this time, though, another opportunity. Danger spot for Steam Whistle as it dribbles to the bottom side. Kama Crystal now pushing forward, but the Firewall Sentry helps out quite a bit. Now the core speed activated from Kadyusha. A missed strike shot. Can't be going for those at that angle, but can make the save against the top spin. Breaks it now, pushing forward, trying to find a pressure in the top corner. Not quite as Umbi and Kama Crystal are pushing forward on their own offense. Gotta watch out, though. The Juliet's approaching, and they do clear it away, but the rebound comes in, and Kama with the strike placement to the top side. The Brawlers have been really impressive today.
Yeah, good strike placements, good knowledge of what to do when you're trying to 1v1. Like, you're not trying to strike in the front of the face of the goalie. You gotta use either hit stuns or good strike placements. Oh my gosh, King Will almost died, but they barely just got at that kill.
Yeah, it was a good attempt by Calm Crystal, and they're really the one who is controlling this game's pace. Steam Whistle forced to make some hard defenses versus the Mako abilities flying in. Breakson just saved the barrier there. Autopilot strikes it away, and Kayusha Kurtz must be saying thank you. Calm Crystal definitely is with that emote, as that barrier standing up should not have happened for God's Strongest Soldiers.
Steam Whistle, I'm really impressed with Steam Whistle right now. I think it took them 2 points, but they just downloaded Comic Crystal because twice they struck between Comic Crystal's Flame Flurry. The matchup of the Brawler goalie is really shaping up right now.
Yeah, both brawlers not doing too hot in this point at the very least. A flip coming out from Kitten Ruler, getting it away. Comic Crystal with the dribbling, but Steam Whistle steals it. Now another Flame Flurry, this time a little bit too much speed to deal with for Steam Whistle as overtime makes everything a little bit crazier. A good pass through the middle, but Kayusha defending despite it all. And now Kitten Ruler looking for a passing play, breaks in, finding the KO, the dribble, the hook, but another strike or win by Kayusha Kurtz and Comic Crystal, but an amazing primary by Steam Whistle backwards. Will keep the point going for the moment.
Oh, it's really good defense from Steam Whistle and Katsuya Kurtz right there. They're playing ice cold right now. They're just these interactions. They're playing at a level where I wouldn't expect most OSAS players to even recognize because they're just playing outside the ranges.
Wow. Speaking of another level, Comic Crystal with the dribble to the top side into flick off the dash. Big tilt. Is this OSAS?
I don't think they're playing at a level like higher levels. They're trying to show us, the casters and the viewers, that they came here to play. They came here to play.
And it looks like a certain 1-2 punch has fallen to the third pick. Comic Crystal gonna be happy with that, gonna be taking over the game even more. It's not looking good for the Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Shrimp Trippers, I will say that we got stacks and stacks on Kitten Ruler. They're trying to keep up with this Kai because Kai had aerials, and Abby could just get overwhelmed with all the speed that Kai has, but that stacks will help remedy that. And also, by the Colossus on the Rasmus. There's just even more size, even more power, just to make sure that Comic Crystal just doesn't play the game.
But Comic Crystal is still getting in there. Doesn't get the barrier that time, but again, gets between. And now a barrier drop is the opposite of what you would expect, but still a barrier take here. But Steam Whistle does have the might, like you mentioned, can put on that damage onto Comic Crystal. And that might be the new win condition here.
Comic Crystal takes the barrier with a good strike war. Marcus Secretary comes out trying to speed up Umbi. Really, Umbi is all over the place. Trying to dribble, trying to pass the Comic Crystal, but a little bit too much on the stove. Trying to cook too much, and it leads to an unfortunate barrier loss. We got the flip. Oh my gosh, watch out, Kazan. We're found dead in the Atlas Lab.
Yeah, Breakson just got blown up. A good hook by Steam Whistle, though, takes it away from the Flame Flurry, and Kitten Ruler interrupting as well. But Comic Crystal's in there, doesn't get the KO. Kayusha rockets it forwards. Breakson sends it to the top side here. Kitten Ruler in position with the Firewall Sentry, but no value found in the scoring play. And Kayusha sitting comfortably in the net, sending it over to Comic Crystal once more. The corner being patrolled well by Comic Crystal, not letting Steam Whistle get any easy clears away, forcing the cross clear at all times pretty much. And now Breakson rushing forward for a chance. Comic Crystal trying to follow up on the flip, but once again, the defense coming in the midfield for the Shrimp and Shrimpers.
Flip flips are good. Slot in on the bottom side. Will secure at first point in the second set. I do want to point out that Umbi had chances to pass the Comic Crystal, but they dribbled up instead of down. And especially in these open barriers with these Rasmus, with this Mako, passing is the only way you can score on these characters, because you can't force it through Rasmus primary. You can't do it. You have to pass around the hitbox, and strike placements will win this game.
Yep, looking for some more strike placements here. Breakson taking a little bit of damage. Comic Crystal lurking, finds a barrier and then finds a flip. That doesn't quite get the follow-up though. Good clear by Steam Whistle. And we're seeing once again the defense coming through, but an early strike means that Comic Crystal immediately pounces. both brawlers have shown that they will score if given the opportunity as the barrier falls. A good save by Kadusha for now. A good barrage by Umbi. The Giga Blast to make the highlight play, but not quite.
Umbi is playing like a egoist, but that was the craziest strike placement I've ever seen. I think they knew. That was intentional, Saya. They definitely knew that the Rasmus Prime was coming out, so they played towards hitting it straight at Steam Whistle, securing that first point.
Yeah, normally I would say, okay, well, that was luck. That was just striking at the goalie. But yeah, Common Crystal showed that they will strike it away so many times so far this game that play just looks impressive. Like you said, it looks like it was on purpose, and it probably was. And now they're building up a lot of meter as they push forward. Umbi in the midfield is using this barrage quite well, but that Sad Boy's angle, no barrier found there.
Umbi looking low. Does have the coil flip looming in the back. But the Rasmus Prime, it's the brick wall, the stop sign, everything. But reversal flips comes out. We're trying to reset there. Oh, unfortunate primary lockout, but everyone's flips are going out left and right. It's breaks it. The dribbling, I would say that was pretty bad, but the Mako Prime was there to stall out.
Yeah, I would also say that there was an open shot to the top side of the net, but honestly, a fine dribble, but it does give enough time for Umbi and Common Crystal to maintain possession on the other end. And again, right, those plays are the exception. That is the norm that just happened with this goal. I think both teams have had pretty good strike placement so far this game, and we'll see if that continues.
Kazan primary trying to find a kill here. Umbi lurking in the midfield. Oh, the passing, Common Crystal, good Flame Flurry, but even exceptional defense from Steam Whistle doesn't allow them to get the barrier. Good defense again. Common Crystal is looking for that dash punch kill. Oh, they gave up coy possession just to bait someone. Walking in, they find the kill. Umbi has the Mako's secondary to back him up with speed. Oh, they pass. Trying to play together. Common Crystal is low though, so they might look for this egoist-esque play here.
Yeah, taken out though, and that's a big power play for Shrimp and Shrimpers. The question is, can they get it away from Umbi, who has a flip available? And the answer is no. The patience to wait out all of the abilities from Shrimp and Shrimpers. Both strikes, the glitch pop, everything being avoided as Umbi sends us to another set.
Yeah, Umbi is really taking over this game. The Common Crystal is there with the dash punches, with all that. Katsuya Curse with the secondary, but this Kai is gonna get extra special. Interesting.
Not the pick you might expect at first glance, but I think it's a big deny against the Aimi, right? The extra special timeless creator. As much as the firewall sentry hasn't been a huge factor so far this game, it's definitely something to watch out for.
Everyone, I would say the duo of Shrimp and Shrimpers got really good stuff. They got, wait, no. Yeah, Bulk Up, my bad. Bulk Up and Super Surge. Those are two high prior awakenings, and they'll just feed into the damage condition, because that's the only way they can win at this point.
Speaking of the win condition, though, Common Crystal with the Adrenaline Rush could just be the entire win right here. Doesn't even need it right now. Even as a teammate falls, gets the barrier, looks for a dash punch. A little bit ambitious there, but Kayusha Kurtz is looking solid on the defense. Good placement by Kitten Ruler around the Mako as Breakson pushes forward. A flip available, flip used by Kitten Ruler right on the goal line. And that's a good point by Shrimp and Shrimpers. If they can replicate that, it's going to be good for them. And like you mentioned, we saw that bulk up come into play.
Bulk Up, even adding to that Mighty Colossus, so the Rasmus does have 184 power. That's a lot of utility for the Rasmus to do a lot of damage. Just playing, oh my gosh, watch out, Kitten Ruler.
Yeah, just getting bounced around, taking a ton of damage. Common Crystal, though, the same as well. It needs to be careful, and there's that 180-something power you were talking about. Good evade by Kitten Ruler to knock it, blasted off the map. It's another power play for Shrimp and Shrimpers. You said that this might be their win condition, and it's looking like it.
There's just this the pressure of damage. It really it's the make or break for these OSAS teams. Like you could see Umbi and Common Crystal They have the core control unlocked. They know how to play their position, but do they know how to play against damage? That's another thing. That must be said. Great dash by Kane Blue to secure that second point.
It looks like a whole different team. Driven Trimpers, they unlocked a little bit of damage and they're taking it a long way here. But do you think that God Strongest Soldiers has what it takes, or is this the new game?
I think Kama Crystal taking the ad rush might have gotten brainwashed to thinking, oh, I gotta dash punch these people. Because, oh my gosh, watch out. But did the hook just save it? This is like the third time that I saw it makes it save these barriers and goals.
Yeah, it might not have been the greatest play there from Trippin' Trimpers, but they still have a flip available. They still have a barrier to play with, and Breakson is slowly approaching, dribble to the top side, and once again, it's Kitten Ruler with the follow-up. That Super Surge is putting in so much work here.
And they had the MVP because of that, because they're just all over the field. They have the stacks, they have the Super Surge. They can cover a lot of options, but we're coming in the draft right now. Sparks is in the back for the Kazan and Primetime. This Kazan is basically undeniable.
Yeah, that hot shot available as well. Size will be picked up instead. A great Kazan Awakening, and of course denying the Rasmus later down the line. Steam Whistle gonna be going for the Spark of Focus here. A little bit of cooldown, as that spec training now is something you have to watch out for. This Juliet has a lot of tools.
Spec training 1-2. That's like 68% more damage or whatever. Because they're tempo swinging. They're playing into the win condition of just overwhelming Steam Whistle.
And then Kama Crystal just walked into the Firewall Sentry and ate every single shot. No, Kama Crystal, no! The hook is coming! Watch out!
Oh, it's the Kazan hook. It could be either hook there. They're just trying to play just fast, because if they let these points go on too long, the damage will pile up, and eventually the barriers will be taken.
Yeah, and they do have the speed to do so with this Kai. They seem to rush down Steam Whistle as soon as possible, but Steam Whistle is playing a lot better now than at the start. You were saying that they adapted, and they definitely have, but they still need to secure this goal. Oh, dash flip attempted from Kitten Ruler, almost gets the KO, not quite. In Kama Crystal now finally proccing the Adrenaline Rush. Big opportunity with the cooldown reset, with the speed. But maybe the Flame Flurry can do a lot of work here, but the Adrenaline Rush runs out and the respawn's going to come in pretty soon.
Yeah, Kama Crystal and Umbi are kind of standing on top of each other. Like, they're trying to... They have the same game plan in mind, but... oh my gosh. Umbi just made me eat my word. Not really eat my words. They just got the goal, but like I said, they're standing on top of it. The Umbi and Kama Crystal stepping on each other's toes, and if they just spread out and pass a bit more, they can just secure this win.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. They might be able to secure it regardless, because they're overwhelming these corners. Umbi's barrages have been the key for them to brute force these goals, and Kama Crystal looking to make a highlight play, interrupted by Steam Whistle for now. Kitten Ruler with the follow-up, but Kama Crystal with the dribble. Strike War win, but goes for another, and Steam Whistle gets the better of that situation. Now it's Breakson trying to help out, but Kama Crystal another 1v1. Okay. Kama Crystal, I know this is OSAS, but we can't do strike forward dash punch. Come on.
They had the right idea. They walked with the ball. That was so good. They just needed the dash punch instead of strike. They would just hit stun the goalie, and that would have been 2 points up. They had it. And then they just fumbled, and it just led to a reversal by Breakson, and it just evens the set. It's scary look from Kama Crystal. They gotta calm down. Lock in.
Yeah, you mentioned the Adrenaline Rush kind of making them dash punch a little bit too much to get the KO. They seem to play the game they were playing earlier in the game, in the earlier sets, where they were just gonna use every ability for the scoring and only dash punch if like the goalie was standing at the wall or something. Because right now they're not playing like they used to.
Yeah, double barrier comes out by Breakson and Kitten. Really good passing plays. But the good clear comes out. Dimsa has to flip in. Good strikes. Scary defense, but ice cold from the back line. Got strongest shoulders, but we get the dash punch. The clock is right twice in a row. Oh my gosh, never mind. Maybe eat my words. God damn it.
Yeah, Kama Crystal almost had the highlight montage double dash punch. double kill, whatever. But right now, Godstrong and Soldiers need to watch out because they have an open net at their back. But Common Crystal waits for the dribble. There's a flip for the KO finish as well. Breakson's got to make a miracle play here to get this point, to get out of match point. But no, they don't. Common Crystal, good strike placement. Doesn't send it to the absolute corner where Steam Whistle's hook was, but still sends it away from the goalie. Perfectly played. And now Godstrong and Soldiers on qualification point.
Looking to secure the goal, but the double barrier will swing the tempo on the side of Shrimp and Shrimpers. We have Umbi passing, trying to pass the Common Crystal. We're kind of ping-ponging here. That's what you want to see here. And they might get reversal, but no dice on the shot attempt. Steam Whistle, Common Crystal, Brawler goalie interactions. Umbi using the blazing pace and all the speed just to overwhelm everyone. But Umbi, yeah, chill out. The 2 points in this game have ended in them getting reversed because they're dribbling too much. They just put the ball up past your brawler and they'll just score. Come on, keep it simple.
Yeah, and Breakson capitalizing on that as well, just getting in there. But wait a second, an unfortunate angle. Common Crystal in there, flip available, but doesn't get the barrier. That could have been the perfect finish to this game. They'll have to settle with a slightly imperfect one, but a win's a win if they can get it past the goalie one more time. Godstrong the Soldiers on the brink of qualification, but getting taken out here. Common Crystal trying to return to KO, gets a stagger, but not the KO quite yet. And Steam Whistle with a good strike to send it away. The Firewall Sentry activated, but Breakson not quite getting the goal just yet. Kajusha with the defense. The core hold is there. The flip available now, but the barrier not taken. Umbi with the barrage this time. Both barriers down, and Umbi trying to be the hero to close this one out. Breakson in position, finds the backwards hit, but Umbi's there to help defend. And now it's a scary open net for Steam Whistle.
Yeah, Common Crystal. Oh my gosh. Common Crystal is trying to use the dash punch. The Brawlers are losing their mind right now. Oh my gosh, Ken Willa, you have to keep it solid. Common Crystal gets one more chance, but the Koi speed passing, glitch pop, IME turret. Oh, it sets up for the Kazan hook. Oh, we didn't slide it in. Strike placement.
The 1-2 punch. The 1-2 punch. Common Crystal finds the dribble, finds the core speed, and finds the placement. In the end, Godstrong and Soldiers. It was a scary game near the end there, but they get it done.
Shrimp and Shrimpers just had they lost one single strike placement. It was unfortunate. They rushed it a bit, but you can't expect them to play like ice cold in that hot environment. And Common Crystal reacting to the 1-2 core speed and just slots it on the bottom side. That was cinema. That game did not disappoint.
Yeah, shout out to Kayusha Kurtz in particular, right? That was a crazy goalie performance. It was difficult for Breakson to get anything happening, and really the main goals came from the Kitten Ruler follow-up, right? So Kayusha Kurtz was winning those 1v1s quite a bit and was a huge part of the win here.
Yeah, but I'll wrap this up for this one. It was a pleasure casting. Great games, great gameplay, and of course, great casting.
Yeah, great casting from Big Tilt. Anyway, goodbye everyone. Good night. Thanks for watching. Shop.bestieandslaw.com. See ya. Congratulations to the two teams that qualified, Godstrong and Soldiers and Chikara Space Train. Bye. See ya. Good night.
See ya.